Hello and welcome to NISMO TV. I'm Sam Collins and I'm joined by Rob Barff here in the NISMO bunker, in fact. And we are just about ready for the 300-kilometre Super GT race live and uninterrupted from Chang International Circuit in Thailand. We're very much looking forward to it. It's the first Super GT race for a little while, Rob.
Yeah, first of the summer triple. We haven't had a race for about a month, and mixed conditions in qualifying has led to a really mixed grid. Always action up and down the field in both GT500 and GT300. Looking forward to seeing the race. 300 kilometres today for us and 66 laps.
Now, don't forget to join us live on the chat on YouTube if you're watching us on Facebook, and do tune in on YouTube. There's plenty to talk about, and we'd love to have you discussing everything all going on.
It's okay, folks. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's live. It's
me.
Not live. Oh, Sam.
Sorry, I was putting ourselves out live on our own channel, which is why you got us twice there. I think we should see what happened in qualifying, don't you? Here we go. It was a mixed session, wasn't it? At the start of it, Dakota Jane is there in the pits for us. That's not Dakota, unless she was dressed that way, which wouldn't surprise us necessarily. And the GT500s, of course, took to the track first. But as you can see on the little camera in the background, or as they cut away to show us the Kondo fans and this craft sport team, it was a little bit damp. The conditions were not perfect for the first section of GT500 qualifying. And that saw the lap times a little bit mixed up. And it's really a strange, and you'll see as it progresses through, you'll see the results are not where you expect. Now, ultimately, the Hondas took pole position. However, that's because this man, Daiki Sasaki, was at the wheel in Jan Mardenborough condition, perhaps.
Yes, the Hondas, very dominant, had a real resurgence in the last couple of races, but the conditions, as you say, Sam, very, very mixed and slippery, but it did begin to dry up, which is a big factor around Chang International Circuit. Here we're looking at Jan Mardenborough coming through some of those long, fast, they're really sweeping corners here on this 4.5 kilometre lap.
Now, as I mentioned earlier, you'll see the Hondas had it their own way. But look at that lap time, Rob. 1 minute 23.4, and that's quite significant, isn't it?
Quite significant. That's mighty fast, Sam. Mighty quick indeed. The lap record is significantly slower than that. So this year's crop of Super GT cars and drivers showing incredible pace.
And that lap record we just mentioned, 1 minute 25, was set by Daiki Sasaki in the blue car last year.
So hopefully a good run for him today as well.
And we saw that fantastic battle on this circuit last year. But behind the wheel in qualifying was JP Oliveira in the Forum Engineering car. Now, he finished fourth, or his tight lap time put them into fourth position as a second row of the starting grid. And we got to hear what he had to say to Michael Crum during the pre-show. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, JP is in a good position. I think it's his best starting position of the year, and that Forum Engineering car is going to be in a good position to get off the grid. It's going to be a fight. As I said, the GT500 grid is topsy-turvy. The GT300 grid is even more topsy-turvy, with the fastest car actually put to the back.
It's always a lottery, isn't it? As soon as you have rain in qualifying, it really mixes up the grid, and it will be interesting to see, particularly in the GT500 field, how the mid-engined Hondas bring their tyres up to temperature versus the front-engined Nissans. So an exciting first few laps and very difficult to predict. Buriram is a circuit where you can overtake those, Sam. It really is a good, we all know it's an FIA Grade 1 track. It's a bit Herman Tilke through and through, but there are some really good fast corners followed by long, tight hairpins, which is great for overtaking.
We'll see it from the aerial photo. It's completely pancake flat, not a slight ripple of an incline anywhere around the circuit. It's like being in Norfolk, frankly.
Well, so you're suggesting that the Buriram province of northeastern Thailand is like the southeast of England?
No, just the east. It's not south at all. It's just to start out there on the east. You're just from so far west, you wouldn't know. Yeah, the Fens, exactly. I mean, we could talk around the track, but you'd normally talk about corner names and stuff. And we could... But also, there's been... Because we've been away for a little while, there's been some news, hasn't there?
Oh, news through and through. Yeah, Le Mans 24 Hours has come and gone, and some of our drivers from SuperGT were out there... at La Sarthe, doing really well, and yes, just this morning we've had a fantastic result in the Blancpain GT Asia Championship, where the Florian Strauss finished runner-up, ex-GT Academy champion Florian Strauss finished runner-up in his Nissan GT-R. So yeah, lots happening in the world of GT and sports car racing.
And in SuperGT specifically, this. As you note, there are slightly more than just SuperGT cars there. Yep, that's because SuperGT and DTM have finally got it together.
Hallelujah. Not a moment too soon.
Almost. Class 1 is going ahead for next year. The contracts are all signed. DTM are finally going to put a proper engine in their cars, and there's going to be some new aerodynamic regulations which can be used in the Class 1 match races, and there's going to be a few other bits and pieces that come together to see the two series unify. Now, whether that actually is going to deliver fully, I don't know, because I have been told that not all of the regulation details have been fully agreed yet.
Sam, you're just so in the know, it makes me feel so insignificant.
I like making you feel like that, Rob. But it's going to be interesting to see, because we have got the confirmation of two match races next year. So there's going to be a GT500 versus DTM race in Japan and another one in Germany. And this morning, Masaki Bando announced that if there is the level of interest in 2020, there may also be one in Thailand at this circuit, Chang.
Oh, that'd just be amazing to watch, and something that, you know, we've been looking forward to here for such a long time. There's been demonstrations, there's been talk of a race, but now we're actually going to get two guaranteed head-to-head DTM versus Super GT events. And of course, they're going to have to use a balance of performance and perhaps clip a little performance from the Super GT cars, but boost up the DTM one. So really looking forward to it.
Well, one of the things that's going to make that race a little bit different to a Super GT race is that when the GT500 and DTM challenge races take place, it's going to take place on a control tyre. Everybody's going to have to use the same manufacturer of rubber. So it could be Continentals, I think it probably was, or Hankooks or something like that. They haven't done that deal over who is going to be the tyre supplier. So that's going to require some changes on the GT500 cars that aren't optimised for that tyre. There's also going to be aerodynamic regulation changes, so they're going to have a slightly simplified bodywork kit, so the cars will be slightly lower downforce again than they are now. That won't be the situation in GT500 because they'll have better tyres and better aero on those cars. So it's a little bit to let the Germans catch up with the Japanese to some extent.
It'll be great to see how the larger Japanese teams cope without their, not control tyre, but without their favoured tyre manufacturer and tyre construction and tyre compound on their side. So, yes, Super GT, very much a tyre war series. And, as you say, going to perhaps the Control Hankook, which is a relatively strong, durable tyre. It'll be interesting to see how these super powerful cars cope with a lot less mechanical grip from the road surface.
Now, slightly disappointingly for me, anyway, I find it a little bit disappointing. The races are both going to be sprint format races, not endurance. So it's going to be a single driver race, no driver changes.
Oh, it's always a shame. You know, we'll get action in the pit stops and looking at the different strategies, how they change wheels and tyres, looking at, you know, an opportunity to lose or gain time. Yeah, so hopefully that will come in the future.
And what a fantastic race we've just had from Chang International Circuit, RJ O'Connell. Sorry you missed it. It's fantastic. No, we've got the race coming up for you. We'll be going live to the starting grid quite soon. Now, we just had a comment come in on the chat about the poster on the wall behind Rob's head. Now, that poster is signed by Hoshino-san, actually. And I thought it was going to be given away as a prize at some point. It might still be, but we have abused it onto the wall, rather. It is the official poster from NISMO Festival from last year. And NISMO Festival is coming up it's just been announced for early December 2018. And I believe there is going to be something of a competition to come out. So, this is called the Nissan GT Sport Cup, I've been told about, and I've got an email. I'm having to read this off an email because it only just came through. The Nissan E-Cup is what they're calling it. It's a competition where you can win a trip to the NISMO Festival, as I said, via playing the GT Sport computer game and the manufacturer's info. Now, to find out more about it, you have to go to nismo.com/Nissan GT Sport Cup. Now, that's going to be really interesting to see how that pans out. And because I understand that Jan Mardenborough has to be able to fund his trip to the NISMO Festival by winning that competition, because they won't let him go unless he plays the PlayStation.
Yeah, but Jan Mardenborough will never win any form of kind of gamer to racer competition, will he?
So I'm reading on the how to participate. You need to get Gran Turismo Sport.
Yep.
You need to choose to represent Nissan in the FIA Manufacturers Series.
As you would.
And then you automatically are entered into the Nissan GT Sport Cup. Drive very, very well.
And you're going to have to literally drive your socks off. I know plenty of good professional racing drivers who finish solidly 400th in this kind of competition. So, yeah, for online gamers, this is a wonderful opportunity, but they are going to have to say, as you say, Sam, drive extremely quickly.
And there's a whole list of ways to enter this on that web address I gave you. So that is nismo.com/Nissan GT Sport Cup. So visit it. I'm going to post. In fact, I'm going to post that in the chat. I'm going to post it in the chat because I can. I think.
Can we talk about Sean Walkinshaw signing for Bob Neville yet, or is that still a secret?
I don't know. Is Sean Walkinshaw signing for Bob Neville a secret?
Oh, is it a secret? Oh, right. Okay. No, because I may have heard on the grapevine that our friend and yours, Sean Walkinshaw or Walkinshow, it's on Daily Sports Guy. If Graham Goodwin can write it, it must be out there. Has signed for Bob Neville's team for the Silver Cup car at Spa 24, which is, again, another reason to watch NISMO TV.
No,
click like, click subscribe. There we go.
Absolutely.
He backs out of that cul-de-sac really quickly.
J-turned, I think. So, the question coming in, what time is the race coming up? Imminently. The race start is in about 17 minutes' time. 47. Someone's saying 47. I think that's just a Hatsune Miku. No, they're number 0. I don't know. 47.
We've got to talk for another 47 minutes.
I think we've got to talk for longer than that, Rob.
I'm so pleased this is live on Facebook. This will be the funniest thing ever to come to Facebook. Watching us trying to fill for another 47 minutes. I'm starting to sweat and we've only got 3 minutes to go.
That's because the heating's on. It's 3 minutes till we go live to Chang International Circuit, in case you're wondering. And it is going to be a predict. I want to hear some predictions. Predictions from you on the chat as well. We want predictions from the chat.
I predict it will be relatively messy. We've had clean starts for the last few races all this season. I know we had the potential jump starts from Ronnie Quintarelli earlier in the season, but we've had no tangles at the first corner, and I think we're probably an overdue a tangle, Sam. So it could happen in GT500, but more likely to happen in GT300, I think.
I think GT300 as well. It is a muddled up field back there, but no one really got to run in the right conditions in qualifying. Warm up this morning, the Lexi were dominant, not the Honda, so they're going to be trying to push through. The Nissans are there and thereabouts as well, so I think we could go for a very unpredictable session. I keep saying that. The pit hoot has just gone on the starting grid, so I think we will be going to the starting grid imminently. So they're clearing it.
Heikki Kovalainen, he's been a little conspicuous by his action, by his absence, I beg your pardon, and he dropped the ball somewhat at Suzuka. So are we going to see the first win for Jenson Button as well? We wait and see. Sam, over to you.
Well, here we are at Chang International Circuit. You are watching SuperGT live on NISMO TV. It's round 4, and we're in Thailand. Flat circuit, flat out racing. It should be great action. 2 classes, GT500 and GT300. We'll explain those a little bit later on. But those 4-cylinder, 700 brake horsepower, turbocharged supercars, I think we have to call them these days, at the front of the field. And then the GT3 and other stuff in GT300. It rained in qualifying, the grid's muddled up, and we are in for a treat. 66 laps of this Herman Tilke designed circuit without a ripple of incline anywhere about it. We'll be looking at the full starting grid surely in a minute, but it should be fantastic action.
A few umbrellas up, but that's fortunately to protect the drivers from the rays of the sunshine rather than the drops of rain that we had yesterday. It is very, very humid though, and rain is in the region, but as you can see at the moment, conditions currently dry.
We're going to be looking at some of the championship points, but actually, look, there you see, Rob, there's Benson Jutton standing next to a set of very deeply cut wet weather tyres. Rain could happen, and look, the Southwesterner, not you, is already sweating, or he's just got some expensive hair.
You can see Jensen wearing his cool vest. There's Haruki Kurosawa, he's our pole-sitting driver. One of the pole-sitting drivers in the GT300 category, driving the Leon Mercedes-Benz.
It does look incredibly humid down there. We will be getting a weather update shortly from the track. We have Dakota Jane somewhere down there. I can't quite see her on that shot, but she is in the pits and paddock for us, sending us news.
Nice to have boots on the ground, so to speak.
And we will be getting the national anthem and the starting drivers coming up shortly. But as it happens, we're just looking down at that grid. Now imagine seeing a bunch of DTM cars mixed in with that. Would you like to see it? I'd like to see that. You put the DTM cars in, but I think the GT300 cars are required still as well. So here we go, a look at Buriram Circuit, as it's officially known, Buriram United, also known as Chang International. And here we go with the starting grid for round 4 of SuperGT 2018. Pole position was all about Honda. Chang Super GT Race is the official name of this event. There you go. And you have the Motul sponsored Nissan Honda NSX on one side and the Keihin on the other. There is a look around from a lovely placed drone of the extremely flat surrounds of the area around Chang. There's some traffic, still trying to find that, and the fans are really in good voice, aren't they? Banging away, and it's like watching the Brazil football team.
They're pouring into the grandstand still, and yeah, they're in good voice, good spirits, lots of enthusiastic flag. Oh, look at that.
Stick waving.
A lovely bit of stick waving.
This circuit is a really difficult place to get to. It's about 8 hours north of Bangkok.
I had a little look at a map of Thailand just to sort of get my head around where it was, because I heard it was in the northeast province. I've never been, and there you can see the weather conditions, 58% humidity and 32 degrees air temperature, so it's a sticky but dry day so far. And as you say, Sam, the place is in the middle of nowhere. It really is a long way from any other motor racing venue.
Track temperature 47 degrees centigrade.
Scotcho.
Now you're putting on a crash helmet, a balaclava, 3-layer Nomex, your fireproof underwear. It's going to be warm, isn't it?
Extremely warm. Haruki Kurosawa there has the engine in front of him in that Mercedes, and the heat soak from that fabulous GT3 coming back through the cockpit. The Honda drivers at the front of the grid in GT500, their engine, remember, is behind them, so all the heat soak going away from them. But yeah, both GT500 and 300, it will be a warm afternoon for the drivers. The race, 66 laps, will be looking... Sorry, Sam, grid.
Here we go with the starting grid. There are those two Hondas. Mutu start alongside Kagure in the Keihin car. Denso Kobelko Saad, LC500 Lexus. Aiki Kovalainen in third. JP Oliveira, we heard from him in the pre-show in fourth position, first to the Nissans. Jensen Button, fifth position in the Raybrigg NSX, alongside Kenta Yamashita in the Wedsport, the beautiful Wedsport Lexus. Then alongside Jan Mardenborough starts the Calsonic Blue car. Alongside him, Izawa in the Arta NSX. Satoshi Motoyama starts the number 3 white Craft Sports Motul GT-R alongside Kazuki Nakajima back from Le Mans in the number 10 LC500. Felix Rosenquist is in 11th in the Wacos LC500. Then the keeper Tom's LC500, last year's reigning champions. Nick Cassidy starts that car. Tachikawa in the Zensurimo is 13th alongside Matsuda in the Epson Modulo NSX GT, the only car on Dunlop tyres. Then the Motul Ortec GTI Ronnie Quintarelli starts that car, but look at that, 62 kilos of ballast. We'll talk about that success ballast a little bit later, but first up we look at the huge GT300 field led out by the Leon AMG with Kurosawa at the wheel of that, alongside the Hitamiya Richard Lyons Audi R8 LMS, and alongside them Takagi starts the R to M6 GT3, that's the orange car, with Sean Walkinshaw at the second driver. The Gainer Tanax first in Nissan's fourth position, great start for that. The K-Tunes RCF Morio Nitta in at fifth. Sixth position is the first of the Subaru BRZ, the first of the JAF GT300 cars, alongside Hatsune Miku in at seventh, with eighth position, first of the Honda NSX GT3s, don't get them confused. Michigami starts that in eighth. The Legal Frontier Lamborghini GT3 Motojima, ninth position. 10th is the Bentley, with Juice starting that car. Then the EXE AMG GT3 Yasuoka in 11th position. The Lotus is in 12th, with the Golf Porsche in 13th. The first of the Prius Kokisaga in the 31 car is in 14th, the first hybrid car. 15th position is the D-Station Porsche with Fuji at the wheel of that. 16th is the Cintium LM Corsa RCF GT3. The Arto RCF GT3 driven by the Thai team, that's home race for them. 17th. 18th is the Hoppy 86 mother chassis car. I love that car. The Up Garage 86 is in 19th, otherwise identical. The other Toyota Prius is in 20th. Not at all pretty, but actually quite effective around this track. In 21st is the Toyopet Green Bay Toyota Mark X. Then the Manipa Lamborghini in 22nd. Now, rounding out the rather smaller than normal field is the Gainer Tanax GT-R, back of the field. Some of the GT300 cars didn't make the trip out to Thailand for cost and logistical reasons. The chip was full, in other words.
And what a mixed up grid, Sam. Up and down the field, cars out of position, like really, really out of position.
That Manipa Lamborghini was the fastest car. Now there's the championship points. Leading the championship, Naoki Yamamoto and Jensen Button. 64 kilos of ballast for them. And look how close the championship points battle are to the red car, the number 23 Motul Ortec GT-R. 62 kilos of ballast on and 31 points. 1 point in it for the top. Sean Walkinshaw leads the championship in alongside, well, it's a four-way fight with two cars in it. 1 point back to third position. GT300 is far from settled. This battle's going to go all the way to Motegi. We know that now.
And it will be very interesting to see just how that success ballast, and for the GT500s, the fuel flow restriction, Sam, affects their position today.
Yeah, and all of these GT500 cars, like Formula 1 and WEC LMP1 cars, have fuel flow restrictions. Now, that's come in for a lot of criticism, particularly in Formula 1. People say, why can't we just let the drivers race? Well, fuel flow restriction does allow the drivers to race if it's executed correctly. As it is in Super GT, you don't hear drivers complaining about the fuel flow, and you don't have this silly 3-lap average. It's an instantaneous limit, and it creates absolute brilliant action. And it's why I love fuel flow limited racing, and this is how to do it, and the rest of the world should be taking note of Super GT about now.
Very good point, well put, and they're clearly integrating fuel flow restrictions successfully into the balance of performance mixture.
And the balance of performance you talk about is done by SRO in the GT300 class, because you have a mix of FIA GT3 cars, exactly what you'll see in the Blancpain Endurance Series and the Blancpain Asia Series, which was live on NISMO TV earlier today. You can tune into that on demand now, so when this race is over, you can have plenty of time to watch the Blancpain Asia Series on NISMO TV before a certain race in Austria, and then there's something else this evening in America where there's another Nissan going to win that one.
It's another full-on weekend for NISMO and NISsan MOtorsports. As we see the drivers on the grid and the teams on the grid preparing for the national anthem.
Now, are we going to get the Japanese national anthem or the Thai national anthem?
I'm going to put my head on the block and say both.
Oh, I'm interested to see this as well. They're all lining up. 5 minutes to go, says the girl with the board. There she is. 5 minutes. Little smile there. And it will be interesting to see, they're right standing up for the national anthems. Happy 18th birthday to Lewis Guthrie for last week. And that was the Japanese national anthem you just heard, with the Thai national anthem in front. 3 minutes to race start. And let's talk about number 3, GT300. One class, many types of car. You have the FIA GT3 cars that you're used to seeing in the Blancpain Endurance Series. I started off saying this before the national anthem. Then you have what we call JAF GT300. Now, this is a bit like the old GT500 cars. With these cars, you have to take the production car, then fit in an engine manufactured by that manufacturer. In the past, it could go anywhere in the car. So in the Toyota Prius, for example, you have a Toyota LMP1 engine bolted in the back of the car. So it's a mid-engine Toyota Prius with an LMP1 engine. Yeah, I did just say that. However, the rules changed after those Toyota Priuses were built, and now you have to have the engine in the correct location on the car. So there's those ones. Then you have the mother chassis GT300 cars. Now, they've all got identical carbon fibre monocoques. They're all powered by a very familiar-looking 4.5-litre normally aspirated V8, the GTA V8, which goes by other names, I think. Those cars are designed and built by small tuners. The most common one you'll see is the Toyota GT86. Now, it's completely different to the Subaru BRZ, which you see in the same race, in the same class, because the BRZ is a JAF GT300 car, not a mother chassis car. So the Subaru BRZ is a real BRZ. The mother chassis car has a carbon fibre monocoque, so it's nothing to do with the BRZ, essentially. You've also got the Toyota Mark X and the Lotus Evora, and they all use the same monocoque, which is really interesting when you see how different the cars are. At this track, those mother chassis cars can be particularly powerful.
And here we see the front of the GT3 field with the FIA GT3 Audi, just obscured by the flag, as the M6 is. Going a little further back, there's the Gainer Tanax GT-R and the Lexus, and then the JAF GT300s and the mother chassis cars just a little bit further behind. So Buriram clearly benefiting the FIA GT3 car, Sam, rather than the other two types, as you were saying. And the yellow headlights, if you're new to us here at NISMO TV, a warm welcome to SuperGT. GT300 cars, the slightly smaller cars, running the yellow headlights, and the GT500s, which are very shortly about to pull off, predominantly using white headlights.
Now, one of the things mentioned about, I was talking about the GT300 cars, of course we had the GT500s on screen. But it's going to be interesting because in the GT300 field, we know at this Chang International Circuit, it's not very hard on tyres, but the GT3 cars are harder on their tyres. We saw last time we were here, one of the GT300 cars go the full race distance without a tyre change. And it was a mother chassis car who are a lot lighter on tyres and they can make them work a lot longer. The GT3 cars don't necessarily have the ability to do that. And that could be the key strategic decider later in the race as the GT3 cars start to lose their tyres. It is a tyre war series, though. 4 different tyre manufacturers in both classes: Yokohama, Dunlop, Bridgestone, and of course, Michelin.
It will be imperative that we keep an eye on the pit stops, looking at whether the drivers change all 4 tyres, a pair of tyres, or indeed just the left front tyre. As we look at the little map of Chang International Circuit there, the hairpin down at turn 3 where the pace car is coming to now is a fantastic overtaking opportunity. Turn 1, relatively fast right-hand turn. Turn 2, flat out left-hander, then down into here. Look how wide the circuit is, Sam, there for turn 3.
And that's what gives it such good overtaking opportunities. Now, look, we don't have any police motorcycle outriders because the Thai police didn't fancy it today.
I'm lost for words. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. Led out by the Honda NSX pace car. 4.5 kilometre circuit, give or take 54 metres.
And the next corner where the GT500 cars are coming to is one of my favourite corners in the world. Turn 4 here at Buriram is incredibly fast. Going incredibly slowly, though. There is our GT300 pole sitter in the Leon Mercedes. That's Haruki Kurosawa.
Now, if you haven't watched Super GT before, you will get 2 starts, a GT500 start and a GT300 start. And they will line up 2x2 in 500 and 2x2 in 300, and then we'll get a proper race start. And that's when the action starts, straight away. I think these Hondas are going to struggle to get heat in their tyres in the first few laps, and that will see them prey to that Lexus.
Heikki Kovalainen will be extremely keen to make amends for his Suzuka mistake. And 47 degrees, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who brings their tyres up to temperature first. The pace of the pace car, relatively slow.
Yeah, but the field's all strung out. While we're waiting for the green flag to come out, don't forget to hit like and subscribe for more of this NISMO TV coverage of, well, lots of things. Blancpain Asia, Blancpain Endurance, Blancpain Sprint, SuperGT, NISMO Festival. Lots of insights and behind-the-scenes videos. And if you want to see stuff, let us know. We've got the FIA Formula E project getting underway now, and I know there's already some great content coming up on NISMO TV about that, and we'll have some more news on that as the weeks go through the summer. And don't forget to ask us questions too. Kanzimitsu has done exactly that. Rob Barff, when do you think the Merge Series will get a race in the UK?
2020, and I think Brands Hatch would more likely want to host a round of this series than Silverstone, looking at both their calendars. So
Indy Circuit or Grand Prix?
Oh, can you imagine round the Grand Prix circuit? So
here we
formation lap.
Now the cars should be forming up 2 by 2, but they're not really doing that. And I think we're about to go racing, and we are indeed. Here we are, Super GT, round 4, and as expected, the Hondas, that wasn't the neatest start in the world, was it? The Hondas are struggling for tyre temperature, and that Lexus of Heikki Kovalainen is right on the tail. Now let's have a look at the GT300. Or not.
Kovalainen putting pressure on the Keihin Honda, coming down into the hairpin. Kovalainen looks to the outside. Does he go the long way round the hairpin? Here's the GT300 start, Sam. We
should go to split screen in a minute. Sean Walkinshaw not at the wheel of that 300 car, actually. His teammate is. And it's Audi versus Mercedes, and Audi has taken the lead. BMW in third position with the Nissan, the Gainer Tanax Nissan, trying to get up the inside. It's nearly going 3 wide into the third corner.
Brilliant start from Richard Lyons.
That's going to end in tears, surely.
In the Audi.
Subaru BRZ on Bentley on Lexus as well, 3 wide into that corner, and they don't make there is contact. Everyone gets through fairly cleanly. A little bit of damage there, I think, for the Prius on the Golf Porsche.
The Golf Porsche, yes, just losing out there around the outside of the hairpin.
The BMW is up to second.
Gainer Tanax car putting the pole man, who's already dropped 2 places down under a huge amount of pressure as well.
They've straightened the sticker on that Audi.
Car's going well, and
that was nearly contact there between the Nissan and the... Well, that Gainer Tanax car is really got a point to prove. Number 11, always been strong in the GT300 Championship. This is one of the new specification for 2018 Nissan GT-R GT3s. It's got a lower, the engine is mounted low and further rearwards, and it should make it more competitive. But up into GT500, and Heikki Kovalainen is already up to second.
As we thought, Heikki Kovalainen very aggressively off the start, and he's closing down Hideki Muto in the Motor-sponsored Honda NSX ahead of him, and also looking very racy towards the back. There was Ronnie Quintarelli down the inside of the white Honda at the turn 3.
Oh, we've got good sound here at Chang International. There is the huge downhill section.
Goes downhill, the same amount as an egg cup, but there we see as the cars stream through turn 4, the Calsonic, the blue Nissan, putting the Ray Brigg Honda under.
It's a battle of the Brits. It's Wales versus the southwest of England. Jan Munro making a small mistake on the exit there, but he's hunting down Benson Jutton.
Battle for 5th.
And just behind Kenta Yamashita in that Wedsport Lexus, one of the best paint jobs in Super GT. But it's England versus Wales when the field moves forward. But there, JP Oliveira now is right on the tail of Kagure in that Honda. While at the front, it is an all-German... Well, it's a bit like DTM, isn't it? Audi, BMW and Mercedes fighting for the lead.
And Richard Lyons clearly looking to drive a relatively wide car to keep Kakagi behind. Sean Walkinshaw's teammate in that bright orange Arte BMW M6.
And that is the former GT500 champion leading the race in GT300, Richard Lyons, of course.
And traditionally, the BMW M6 has shown a little more straight line speed than the Audi R8. The R8 is terrific on the brakes, it's got terrific straight as we come down through the final corner.
And it's turning into a touring car race already. Now look for that Subaru BRZ in the background. That's the one that has the road car chassis, but it's powered by an WRC based, one of the old Impreza WRC 2-litre flat 4 boxer engines.
Very iconic noise that car makes. You can just pick it out as the GT3 field streams through. The Est-Cola Bentley Continental, a newcomer to the series, up 5 places already, Sam, up 5 places. So the Est-Cola Bentley really making progress in the GT300 field, and he's almost on the back of our erstwhile pole-sitting man, who again is under pressure from Yatsuda in the Gainer Tanax Nissan GT-R.
Well, as we're looking at these battles going through, I think this is the most competitive we've seen the Bentley in Super GT, actually.
Certainly, I don't remember seeing any Bentley running as high up as this, and whether they've had a BOP break. My man on the inside at Bentley is over at Spa at the moment for the Spa 24 hours test, so unfortunately Brad Fincham can't help me out with any balance of performance breaks for the Bentley, but yeah, they're running really well, and the Leon there clearly holding up now, the cars behind.
Yeah, absolutely, but that's going to make for a good battle. But in GT300, it does look like we've got a casualty already. We haven't seen it on camera, but one of the most popular cars in Super GT, driven by Kataoka, is not lapping currently. Hatsune Miku may be out of this.
That's a great shame.
Well, it is for their championship points. They are a title contender in GT300. So let's see, is this going to be what happens to Miku? No, this is the battle for second position. Oh, contact.
That was
very aggressive. That was a little bit naughty.
That was the move for second by Heikki Kovalainen at the end of the first lap there.
I wonder if that will be a driver moral hazard penalty. That little biff from the Keihin NSX looked a little bit over-aggressive. Moving up the field is the Motul Ortec GT-R, making up a couple of positions off the start. That heavily ballasted car. But right now, the front of GT300 is this all-German battle between the three manufacturers. It's almost like it was scripted to promote DTM, to give us a chance to talk about this DTM merger. But in further back, the battle for third is Bentley back there, just with the Nissan in front of it, and they're all being held up, as you say, by that Mercedes, which isn't working, and the Bentley's using all of the track and some other bits it's invented for itself.
Yeah, Jus is going to have to be careful with his use of the runoff there. He's running very wide and will come under investigation for track limits if he's not a little more cautious. I think that's the Keihin NSX we see at the head of that trio in GT500. Yes, it is.
Now, news on Hatsune Miku, she is definitely moving. There is motion from Hatsune Miku, but she is now 3 laps down. And I believe we are getting sector times for her dropping in. She has got a lap time on the board. And it is 3 seconds a lap faster than the cars in front of her, but they're 3 laps ahead.
Yeah,
but look at this battle. There she is, yeah. And she's just right in the middle of all of the action as the Wedsport car gets the move done on the Ray Brigg car. Jan Mardenborough, so that's Wedsport getting past both Mardenborough and Jenson Button. Now Jan Mardenborough has a run up the inside of Jenson Button. It is Wales versus England. Who is going to win going into this right-hander at the first? It's Wales.
Yeah, Jan's going to make that stick. Really good move there from Jan on the inside of Jenson Button.
And Button's not out of the woods yet. Here comes, I think it is Chio-san at the wheel of the Craft Sports number 3 car. There he is having a look up the inside. Now that Honda of Button is really in trouble. Now, is this the situation we saw at the first round where Button was trying to preserve tyres all the way through the race? Or is he just slow?
Yes, it was very much a case that we thought the 2009 Formula One World Champion was being a little too cautious, but in fact he managed to save his set of tyres for his teammate. But look at the Bentley there in GT300, Sam.
It's like someone's lit a very posh pipe up and just really gone for it.
There's a hashtag, if ever I saw one.
So there we go. Now look at this move in. So that is the Gainer Tanax car getting up finally past the Leon Sistos AMG up into 3rd position. And now the Bentley's looking to do likewise. But this is now the battle for 4th. And look at the gaggle of cars behind them waiting to get on terms. That Lexus seems to be holding up the Subaru a little bit, actually.
Which is strange because the Lexus were mighty in warm-up, as you were saying earlier. They had really good dry weather pace. But now, look, the Lexus he's been forced to go defensive as they come down to turn 3 at the hairpin.
And the Bentley nearly gets it done on the Mercedes. Yes, he does, just about. The Mercedes clearly better on the brakes than the huge old lump of pig iron from Crewe.
It's carbon fibre and it's from Carlisle.
No, well, yeah, the carbon fibre bits are from Carlisle, the metal bits are from Crewe.
Oh, okay.
Oh, and, well, driver leaves.
Just too excited.
Oh, a little bit to our squeal from somewhere. Did someone loop it? And, yep, I've just been told, the reason for the Bentley's sudden improvement is called Maxim Use.
Ah, there we go.
There you go. But that Subaru BRZ will get the job done on that Lexus sooner or later, because if he doesn't, the Toyota Prius is now coming to have a fight, and that's got boost.
They are all queuing up behind, aren't they?
They are, and when this happens in GT300, the field either gets very strung out at the front, which it's looking like it's doing, or you end up with an exceptional battle like the one we had at Suzuka.
Just nose to tail throughout the field, isn't it? There's just nip and tuck everywhere you look.
Yeah, but look, the GT500s are in amongst the GT300s, and this is what makes Super GT special. This slalom through much slower cars. Now, describing a GT300 car as slow, just to put this in context, they're quicker than the GTE AM cars in the WEC.
And we see the race leaders now coming through. It's ever so spicy as they make their way down into turn 12 and then the short straight down to turn 1 here.
Now, Jenson Button is falling through the field now, down to 7th position. That's not gone well for him. Now Hideki Muto leading in the Mugen NSX GT. That car is mechanically identical to the car of Jenson Button. All the Hondas are identical. The only thing that is slightly different is the suspension geometry to suit the different tyre manufacturers and driver preferences in some cases. And now the leaders of GT500 are up with almost right with the leaders of GT300. And you get to see a real difference between the car speeds.
Kovalainen losing out there a little bit. There's now a good gaggle of GT300 cars between him and the race leader.
It looks like the Prius wants to have a go at the GT500 there.
Can't blame him. He's only human.
Now, if we keep an eye on this battle at the front between the Audi and the BMW, which look very slow and sedate now, we've just been watching GT500s going through 300 traffic. Look at the top of the screen. In a moment, there's again a Tanak's car as well in third. You will see the 500 cars storming up behind them and ripping past them. At some point, he switches over to look at the lap tracker to see how far behind they are. Right on the straight behind that Gaynor Tanak's car, in fact, you will see the leading GT500. And just look how quickly he will get past these guys. But will that Honda be able to keep... I mean, I'm surprised. He got the tyres working up to temperature very quickly.
Yeah, he did. There's the, as you suspected, the race leader coming down with his white headlights ablaze. He'll be pleased to see the head of the GT field. He's had a couple of laps of picking his way through the traffic, and from a driver's perspective, it's incredibly stressful when you come across gaggles of cars like this, which may or may not have seen you.
Now, what's it like for the GT300 cars? Because you've been in GT300, Rob, and been overtaken a lot.
It's hard. You spend, 80% of your time looking in your mirrors, you cat. Yeah, saucer of milk, table 2. You spend 80% of your time looking in your mirrors and 20% of your time looking forwards, and you sometimes just see a colour and you think, okay, it's a white and red Honda, and then there's a white and red Honda and a white and red Lexus so close behind it, you just simply don't see it. So there's a little reliance on the GT500 cars choosing somewhere predictable to make their pass.
Oh, that kart track looks quite good fun. Anyway, I'm quite used to being overtaken for my own racing exploits, if you can call them that. I just sort of set off at the same time as everybody else. It was interesting to see how gentle Mutu was going through the leader of the leading pack of the GT300s there. Now, there are things in Super GT called driver moral hazard penalties. In other words, it's like your Formula 1 driver penalties, or as I call it, the Pastor Maldonado Memorial Cup. But as you work through the field, if they start dinging on GT300 cars or even GT500 cars, they will pick up little penalty points and get stop-go penalties. And I'm sure at some point in this race we will see drivers getting a moral hazard penalty and being called to pits and get told off.
And with the field being so tightly compressed, a moral hazard penalty, even the most mild one, just a drive-through penalty, will bring you'll lose such a lot of time with a drive-through. It's hugely detrimental around the Buriram circuit.
You are watching Super GT on NISMO TV. If you're watching on Facebook, you need to do this right now if you want to keep watching this action. You need to go into your browser of whatever flavour, phone, laptop, television, smart
thing,
kitty or something, and type in NISMO.TV, press enter, and then you will find the live stream on YouTube with the live chat, and you can carry on watching the race, because we're not staying live on Facebook for much longer, so you're going to miss out. So it's a bit like on BBC Two in the UK, where they used to put the other half of the Grand Prix halfway through and you had to switch channel over. But not switching a channel here is Kagure in third position, because he is glued to his rear view mirrors, because JP Oliveira in the Forum Engineering Nissan is all over the tail of him and trying to get that move done into turn one. The wet sport car, though, isn't that flying up through the field?
JP Oliveira looking stronger and stronger as this race goes on. We're 11 laps in now, and here we have the Honda being tracked ominously by the Nissan as they come down towards the hairpin. Oliveira looks left, he looks right. Down the inside, it's a Shennington lunge, and a little bit of contact. And look, the Lexus is up the inside. Boom, 2 for the price of 1.
See, now JP Oliveira was a little bit aggressive last couple of seasons ago, and they're still nearly in contact with the Kahin on the back. He's not happy. JP Oliveira, as I was saying, is a famously aggressive driver. Unfortunately, that didn't pay off for JP. He lost the position, didn't gain one. And now, Mardenborough's wanting to get into the scrap.
JP Oliveira losing a little bit of the front of his car, I notice as well, on the straight out of turn 3. Bits of carbon fibre flicking up, and yes, Mardenborough looking ominous on the back of the pack there now.
Now, we haven't seen it on the screens because this action's so good, but the Bentley that was doing so well has had an issue and they've pitted.
Oh no, great shame for them, great shame. Obviously newcomers to the Super GT Championship, but sad to see them pit, but now Mardenborough looking very aggressive up behind the equally aggressive JP Oliveira, who still hasn't given up on the Kahin NSX, Sam.
Yeah, but they're all letting the wet sport car go away. So this Nismo on Honda battle is helping out Lexus at the moment. And look, there is another Lexus coming up on their tail. That is Kazuki Nakajima. But the new fastest lap of the race has just been set by Felix Rosenqvist. In fact, that's Felix Rosenqvist, not Kazuki Nakajima, of course. I was going to say, that's why he's right on the back. He's set the new fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.8, which is not far off the old lap record.
And he's come from nowhere. It was 3. Now look, coming down to the hairpin, it's 4. Oliveira down the inside as
another Shennington lunge, he's got it. Gets it done this time, though.
Shennington, a kart circuit in the UK here, with a long straight followed by an incredibly tight hairpin, and
and it's a battle for the lead in GT300.
Oh, look at that side by side.
And that Nissan isn't far away. That is lots of nearly contact. And Mardenborough's off. And back on again. Oh, we needed to see all of that again.
What we need is split screen, Sam.
Yeah, we need the split screen. We haven't had it this race. They've forgotten the split screen button. And there's the Forum Engineering JP Oliveira getting passed now by Felix Rosenqvist. Rumours about his future. Is he going to end up in Formula 1 in the not too distant future? Questions about Brendan Hartley's continued security of seat beyond the British Grand Prix.
My notes on Felix Rosenqvist I was making at the start of the year, I started with won everything. He has literally won everything he's ever sat in. He's won Macau twice, he's won F3 Masters twice, he's won the European Championship, he's won Pose, beg your pardon, and he's incredibly quick and has made short work of JP Oliveira there. Meanwhile, at the head of the GT300 field, Richard Lyons still leads.
That is the battle for first, second and third. There is the Audi leading from the BMW with the Nissan in third, and the Nissan is looking extremely racy.
Imagine if you've never watched Super GT before, you've just turned on. It's like, what's this? The top 6 in GT500 pretty much nose to tail. The top 3 in GT300 covered by a handkerchief. It's just ace.
Well, if you just noticed that the race action has just exploded in the last couple of 5 minutes, everything suddenly got very lively. Now, there's a reason I suspect for this, because looking at the lap times of the cars, The timing screen has just exploded. We've had a new fastest lap of the race again. This one's by Hideki Moto, the race leader, a 1:25.5. But Heikki Kovalainen in second position has also set his best lap of the race. There's greens and purples appearing all over the timing screen. I think the temperature has just got right, and the track's rubbered in, and now it's like happy hour.
There we go. The second thing you said, the track has rubbered in. All that rain yesterday, Sam, has washed the rubber off the circuit. The track was very green, but as you can see, there's lots of rubber going down there. That long shot as we see the cars coming through 5 and 6, you can see the rubber going down on the racing line now, and the track is getting quicker, no doubt about it.
So if you're liking watching Super GT here on NISMO TV, there's a few thousand of you out there now. Don't forget to hit like, because that's how our bosses judge how well we're doing, and that's what keeps NISMO TV going. We need lots of likes. So there's 2,000 people who could hit the like button, so make sure you hit the like button. Smash that jutton.
That's exactly what Felix Rosenqvist is doing down into turn 3. So if you like Felix's late lunge down the inside, and why wouldn't you? Kaguri going down another place there, hit the like button. He has. Look how happy it's made him.
He's very happy.
Oh, I think he hit subscribe at the same time.
That's what he's doing.
Oh, he couldn't be happier.
Well, that Lexus, I mean, this is what we were talking about. We saw it in the warm-up earlier on. The Lexi seemed to work particularly well on this track in the right conditions. Those conditions are now, and the Hondas have seen that coming. Another fastest lap place for Hideki Moto. So he's aware of the threat, and he's pushing to keep that 2.2 second gap from Heikki Kovalainen at the front. But look at this battle, four-way battle. Now JP Oliveira is still holding behind the Cayenne NSX with Jan Mardenborough in the blue car, but now there's another Lexus on Jan Mardenborough's tail. That is the AU Toms car, driven by... I can't even work out who it is. That is Kazuki Nakajima, of course.
He's been quite busy lately as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's had a few things on. Had a good result somewhere, I can't think what.
Did quite well at Le Mans, I believe.
Yeah, that was
him and that Spanish guy.
Yeah,
the one with the beard.
Oh, he knows Jensen quite well.
Who?
The guy from the southwest.
Oh, okay. The one that was just overtaken by Jan Mardenborough, the ex-computer gamer from Cardiff.
That's right, yeah.
Wow. I did smile when Jan overtook Jensen Button. You think, yep, computer gamer from Cardiff overtakes 2009 Formula 1 world champion.
I don't think you can call him an ex-computer gamer, because I've been in his flat and he's definitely not an ex-computer gamer.
Have you watched him play FIFA? He's just like a Jedi.
I've watched him play Gran Turismo, and it's much the same, though he still hasn't completed Gran Turismo.
Has he not yet?
No.
Dear, oh dear. I'll have to have words.
No, but he's so serious about it, he lives actually next door to the PlayStation HQ.
I'll have words when he's finished this scrap, perhaps. Now might not be a good time.
So, Super GT is a series I first discovered playing computer games, actually.
Really?
Yeah, playing Gran Turismo 1 on a PlayStation 1. But I had a Takata Dome NSX, I have to admit.
Another hashtag, Super GT admissions.
Another XF1 driver to race here, Nick Heidfeld. Not sure what that... I don't think Heidfeld's an ex-driver. Oh, he is an ex-driver, but he's a WEC driver, but he's not in this race. Quite sure he would have raced here in. Well, anyway, the Cayenne NSX leads this gaggle of cars live on NISMO TV, being harassed all the way by JP Oliveira, who is trying that same overtaking move again, and this time it looks like he's going to make it stick. But Kagure isn't giving up, but that's going to make it easier for Jan Mardenborough to get on terms of these two cars in front.
JP Oliveira's got to make good his escape now, because the Zent Sarumo Lexus is on the back of the Toms AU car as well, and we had 3, we then had 4, we've now got 5 there. 5.
He's looking at that timing screen, and as you can see on that timing screen, there is a new fastest lap of the race. It is Felix Rosenqvist there in 4th position with a 1:25.4. These lap times are falling fast, and that AU Toms Lexus, now the Zent Sarumo Lexus as well, the Lexi are moving up through the field. This is what we predicted after the warm-up and seeing how things end up in qualifying. Of course, there's still pit stops to come. I'm expecting to see about lap 30 to 35.
You were reading my brainwaves there, Sam. I was just thinking, as the leaders start lap 17, I think we're about halfway through the first half of this race, or the first element of this race. And the Zensarumo car just making his nose scene there to his sister Tom's teammate.
Now there is Heikki Kovalainen. He has got that gap right down. It was 2.2 seconds a few laps ago. It's now, well, not.
Yeah, quarter of a second, 0.2 of a second.
And that Toyota Mark X, that green car, that's one of the mother chassis cars. I think it looks quite cool, but it's certainly not pretty. But it hasn't seen... Oh, he hadn't seen Kovalainen, and I don't think he'd seen the Honda. But that overtaking manoeuvre has put the Motul-sponsored Honda in the lead into real jeopardy, because that Lexus LC is absolutely flying at the moment.
We're going to see a change for the lead shortly here, Sam.
Well, has the Honda got a problem? Because the Honda's last lap, Hideki Muto, and I think it was more than just traffic, 128.1. The Lexus 126.5, and they're both in traffic.
Here we go as they head downhill in the gaggle of cars led there by the Gulf Sport.
And then the Gulf Porsche being followed there by that yellow mother chassis Toyota GT86 with the normally aspirated V8 engine that looks very familiar to something else, similar to something else.
Through and out of turn one, the leading Honda there gets a little tow from the slower GT300 car, and he's just stretched away. Yeah. Kovalainen flashing his lights, making sure that GT300 car has seen him, and he's not. He's come right into his path. JP Oliveira, though, pulling at a little gap from
the Cahin car's fallen right down the field. So the Hondas are struggling now. So it looks what's happened is that the track's rubbered in, and the Hondas, who had that little bit of performance at the start, have lost it. So you remember the Honda set their pole position times, their competitive times, on a track that was very green just after the rain. Now the track's rubbered in, the Hondas are now all struggling for performance and falling back through the field.
And the only thing all the Hondas have in common, Sam, is that mid-engine, the rear mid-engine configuration. That must be something to do with it, regardless of suspension setting, aero settings, tyre, compound and construction. It must be something to do with the chassis configuration, and it's just now Buriram suiting the front-engine GT500 cars more.
Here we go. This is where the Cahin car, Mardenborough got past it, the AU Tom's car got past it, and momentarily we will see the Zensarumo get past it as well. There he goes. But there is the battle for the lead, though. Cutting back to that, I mean, the TV director's having a difficult day, I think. That is Heikki Kovalainen trying to get the move done on Hideki Muto for the lead. Not going to get it done there. There's a Honda being very helpful.
So through turn one, exiting one, coming down the flat-out kink, coming down to that hairpin as Kamui Kobayashi looks on.
Second driver, so he doesn't forget to make his pit stop.
Surely a drive. Oh, there we.
Oh so no, this is
Kovalainen round the outside. Will he make it stick? No, but he had to.
No, he has. He's done it. He's done it. He's through. They're wheel to wheel. The next corner is a left-hander. Kovalainen's got this.
I should really say something, but easily through. Boom. Excellent. Really, really good move there. And Kovalainen benefiting from those slower GT300 cars and making the move from second through into the race lead.
Well, that is a critical moment in this race, I suspect. Well, he's not quite in clean air because of GT300 traffic. These Hondas are now really clearly... Well, they're anybody's now, aren't they?
Yeah, they're moving backwards and Kovalainen moving forwards. At the head of the GT300 battle, the three-way scrap continues.
Well, the 100 car that was competitive at the beginning is now down to 10th position. Then falling.
Gaynor Tanak still very much in the mix there. If there's any form of shenanigans between the BMW and the race-leading Audi of Richard Lyons, he's going to be first to capitalise.
I wish the Gaynor Tanak's car would switch his headlights on.
Sorry, M6 got very close to the back of Richard Lyons there to the centre of turn 3.
It's a very clever drive at the moment from the Gaynor Tanak's number 11 Nissan GT-R. just waiting to capitalise on when these two Germans have a little bit of a squabble between themselves and nick that lead.
Just holding a watching brief for sure.
A strong result for an identical Nissan GT-R GT3 in Asia earlier this morning.
Yeah, Suzuka.
For the Asian Blancpain Asia Series, of course. Not the Asian Le Mans Series, the Blancpain Asia Series. You can watch that here on NISMO TV. It is streamable on demand, as are all Blancpain Asia Series races. I'm not sure who does the commentary for those.
Not us.
Hey, it's Bruce. Oh, Bruce does it. Oh, there you go. Bruce Jones, commentator there. The Blancpain Asia. Well, after you've watched this wonderful action from Thailand, switch over. You can watch on catch up. This is the race from Suzuka. Then there's a race in Austria, which isn't on NISMO TV. It promises to be quite entertaining. And there is some Nissan interest in that race, of course, via the Infiniti and the Renault Alliance.
There we see our race leader coming down the inside of, I was going to say our GT300 race leader.
He's going to get second here, is he?
Not quite. No, not quite. So Kovalainen finding his way through. Hideki Muto now lining up that top trio.
Now, someone's had a moment down at turn 1. I'm not quite sure what, but the yellow flag is out. It's none of our leaders, and it's the Subaru. He's had an off. Yamuchi discovered the limits of talent and adhesion. Or did he have a problem? That car is quick when it works, but it has never had good reliability. It's been quite patchy in terms of reliability. It's Subaru's works car, the only works car in GT300, and well, this squabble is continuing in GT300.
Hideki Muto still to find his way past, and look, where's Heikki Kovalainen? He's gone, he's checked out.
And just to look behind Muto, that is the Wacos-sponsored Lexus of Felix Rosenquist, with Kenta Yamashita in the Wed Sport car right behind him.
Through and out of the final corner, turn 12, crossing the start-finish line to start that 22.
And Jan Mardenborough being forced off the track there by JP Oliveira at the top of the screen.
Nissan on Nissan.
That's not allowed. They'll get a very stern talking to. Well, if there was contact, there may not have been any contact, but yes, Mardenborough was certainly forced off the track there by JP Oliveira. We didn't see it, but we'll hear about it from Jan on Twitter, I'm sure, later on.
Have we seen Ronnie Quintarelli in the red car today, Sam?
He's been gradually working his way up the field. He's in 12th position at the moment. But with that amount of ballast on the car, it's going to be a difficult day for the red car in the 23.
Just chipping away as and where he can, as you say, carrying that large amount of ballast, and of course with the stage 1 fuel flow restriction as well.
He's currently hunting down Jenson Button.
Things can't be going too badly for him then.
No. And we'll get him quite soon.
Of course, that battle, although it's not on screen at the moment, it's not on our radar really, that is the battle for the overall championship.
Absolutely, and the championship battle, I think, yes, that's a very good point. So that is a battle for the championship lead, though that far down there's not a lot of points to be had, but they could be crucial points as we get to Motegi at the end of the year.
Anything would be beneficial, even a single point. Everything, points make prizes, you know. I know it's a cliche, but yeah, if you can pick up just an extra 1 or 2 points, look at Mardenborough
This is a double battle, because you've got the AU Toms Lexus trying to get past Jan Mardenborough, who's now making a very, very good job at getting past JP Oliveira, while they're going past the GT300 leaders now. Let's see. That's very aggressive. And he spun him! Mardenborough has put JP Oliveira into the wall, but I think that's JP Oliveira's fault.
I do. Absolutely, 100%. Oliveira drove into Jan Mardenborough, and almost like two stainless steel balls just bounced off him.
Yeah,
Oliveira,
I mean, that was pretty clear. Mardenborough's dead straight.
Oliveira moves in.
And Jan just holds his position. Oh, well, JP, you were lucky not to take out the leader of GT300 there as well.
Heart-stopping moment there for Richard Lyons, and Oliveira's parked it.
Oh, he is not going to be happy, and nor a Nismo.
So the gravel trap has done its job, brought the car to a safe stop, but Oliveira out of this race, and we've seen a couple of little bits of contact from him, and as you say, Sam, NISMO Motorsport heads will be...
and that's the Subaru. I said it's got patchy reliability, and, it patchy. It patched itself. Need an upgrade there. So, has he done it on his own, or it looks like it just conked out, hasn't he? Now, with a car off at turn 1 and a car off at whatever turn that is, the PTT station turn, whatever that is, could it be a safety car?
Quite possibly. I'm looking for movement from the marshals and movement also in race control. The incident between Mardenborough and Oliveira now officially under investigation.
Yeah. I would be amazed if any moral hazard was applied to the Welshman for that.
You'd hope not, because you could clearly see Oliveira made the first move into him. So let's wait and see, though. I'm sure they'll be looking at super slow-mo replays as we've got Honda on Honda now coming down the back straight towards the hairpin.
Honda on Honda with 2 Nissans hunting them down. So Satoshi Motoyama has got in front of Ronnie Quintarelli actually in the red car. The live timing isn't showing that, but he has, because I can see it. While the Raybrigg and Cahin are fighting it out. That's Jensen, Button and Kagure trying to get that position. But as you can see, the white car and the red car are further back. And that is the leader of GT300 in the pits. So maybe he's scared himself off the track.
An early stop there from Richard Lyons. His afternoon done and dusted, and makes an early handover to his teammate.
Now that's interesting, because that is quite an early stop, and I'm wondering if that's routine. Well, the Raybrigg, Cahin, Craft Sports, there's the number 3 Craft Sports car, that white Nissan GT-R GT500. But here is, well, that is the battle for second position. Felix Rosenqvist has now got onto the tail of Hideko Muto and won't make job. That's a very slow stop.
They haven't dropped the car down.
Yeah. Oh, it's all going wrong. Because I don't think you can spin the wheels. No, there's some issue with that car. There's the Mark X to it. Mark X makes its way out of the pits as well. So it looks like some of the GT300s are opting for an early stop.
Almost looked like they had a problem with the air release there. It looked like they'd released the air to drop the pressure out of the air jacks to lower the car down, but the car didn't drop. And of course, you can't start the engine when the car is in the air. So he'll have fallen foul of a regulation there for sure.
Bit like a certain car at Le Mans, but there you go. Didn't fall foul of regulations there, did it? But wouldn't have made a difference. The Audi is out of it essentially now, because the battle in GT300 is so close that Audi is no longer going to be competitive. He'll be lucky to be in the top 10.
As we suspected at the start of the race, any form of misdemeanour...
Oh, the Nissan Skyline set off on its own.
Any form of misdemeanour in the pits will be hugely costly here at Buriram, and that has been the case with the race leader for the first half of the GT300. There we see our race leader in GT500, Heikki Kovalainen, still staying out.
Heikki Kovalainen is losing time. His last lap was a 1:26.4. The cars behind him are doing 1:25s and low 1:26s. He's losing a little bit of time. He's being hunted. But is he just driving a sensible race out on his own?
I think Felix Rosenqvist is driving the pace here. In the blue and pink Lexus, he's clearly pushing that Honda very, very hard, who's having to respond. And as the traffic ebbs and flows, as we see the Audi being pushed forlornly back into the garage, that gap at the front of the field is coming down ever so slightly.
Cahin NSX now in for its pit stop.
Okay, so that was definitely a left front change.
And there's tyres at the rear as well there. So all 4 tyres, and that is problems for one of the GT3 Nissan GT-Rs. Not quite sure what the issue there is.
That's on the exit of turn 8. Parked on the outside, not really in a place where you would say dangerous enough to bring out the safety car.
Very unusual to see a GT-R having any sort of reliability trouble, to be honest. But look at this battle between Rosenqvist and Muto.
Rosenqvist looking very, very aggressive and really making his mark now in Super GT.
One of those recovery vehicles hanging around, waiting for a safe opportunity to go and recover something.
And we've got yellow flags out at turns 8, turns 9 and turn 11, so race control will be having eyes on screens everywhere up there.
So there's a lot of damage, a lot of bodywork down from someone there.
Yeah, well,
I wonder where that came from.
It's been there for a couple of laps. I spotted it a little while ago. I thought might be from earlier GT300 contact, but yeah, Rosenquist down the inside of Muto. Has he made it stick?
Yeah,
easy.
That was a matter of all. Muto just disappearing off the track as well. A good measure. That Wed Sport car will be on the back of Muto in not too long as well. There's quite a bit of debris down. I wonder if someone's lost a tyre or something.
Possibly. Ray Brigg into the pits.
Indeed. Now, when this all filters out, you'll see where these cars are. There's quite early pit stops.
And you would make an early pit stop if you were struggling with tyres. If you were negatively losing positions and feeling that the tyre had gone away and you were lacking in confidence, you just want to get in, get those tyres off, put your teammate in on fresh rubber and Control Alt Delete. And clearly the Hondas have been struggling for pace as conditions change. So the Ray Brigg car makes his way out on a fresh set of boots.
Jensen Button handing over to his teammate there. The man from the Southwest's race is over for today, and it wasn't a tyre-saving run. Just slow.
Just struggling. Another car that has struggled in the first half of the race. Our pole-sitting Mercedes, the Leon Mercedes there, and they're taking a full set of tyres as well, so clearly struggling for grip in the GT300 class as well.
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the front runners still in GT300, but we will see them filter out. Lap 28, though, it's still more than half the race to go, and if they're struggling at this point for tyres, they're not going to. It's going to be a very unpredictable end of the race.
Yeah, last few laps will be extremely entertaining, watching the drivers trying to consolidate their pace as the tyres go away from them, as they fall away.
Cars to watch in GT300, I think, are the Mother Chassis, the Up Garage 86 and the Hoppy 86, as is the number 31 Toyota Prius. I can see them working through the field a little bit. Manepa Lamborghini, not really that competitive. Shosubo and others like him who started out of position and working their way back through the field.
But clearly they're not as light on their tyres as the more traditional Japanese GT300 cars.
No, and there you see Hatsune Miku, another one of those cars out of position from early problems, working their way back through to the front. You're watching Super GT Round 4 from Thailand, live and uninterrupted on NISMO TV. Don't forget to hit like, don't forget to subscribe, because there's loads more of this special content coming up for you through the season. Somebody else, though, has had a moment, perhaps at turn 8 and turn 9, someone has stopped to hit like and subscribe because the yellow flags are out again.
That was where we saw the GT300 Nissan stopped a moment ago, as we see the car that was on pole position making his pit stop. Driver change. Deadeye 313 asked a decent question. What categorises a works car? I categorise it as a manufacturer-owned and funded operation. And that means almost all of the essentially all of the GT300 and all GT500 drivers, and a couple of GT300s are works cars. However, there's works cars like the number 23 Nissan GT-R, which is designed, built and run by NISMO. And it's the only car in Super GT that is designed and built and run by the same team. Yeah, I always look at whether the drivers are salaried by that manufacturer. And at the end of every month, Jan Mardenbruch gets a check thumped through his door from Nissan. He is a works driver in a works car. So yeah, he told me they paid him in like just food. Oh, and contact there between the Manepa number 88 and the Lexus. Now the Lexus is missing body, so it's Lamborghini on Lexus, and a bit of bodywork falling off on the start-finish straight. Yeah, large piece of wheel arch liner coming out there from one of the cars. That was the Lexus after the Lamborghini bit it. So with the pit stops cycling through, this is why you're seeing these Lamborghinis now coming up towards the action. They've still to stop. Mexican standoff there between the two GT300s as they come down, and yes, the Lambo makes its way up past the Lexus. And those are, of course, team cars, those two Lamborghinis. The Tom Zayu car flashing his lights there. He's just come out of the pits. Remember, no tyre warmers in this series, so cars like the Ray Brigg Honda, as we see, rejoining there on cold tyres. A warm afternoon here in Thailand, track temperature of almost 50 degrees. It will still take a couple of laps, though, to build temperature and pressure into those cold slicks.
The humidity at Buriram has risen since that early start of the race. I've just been shown to 82%.
That's sticky.
Which is rather warmer than it is here in the NISMO bunker.
Yeah.
Jensen doesn't look happy.
No, Jensen does not look happy. He looks fairly warm and flustered. It's been a hard afternoon for him.
But if the humidity raises much more, are we likely to see some rain before the end of the race? And that could explain the early pit stops.
The thundery showers bubble up out of nowhere in this part of the world, and we've still got, I would say, 40 minutes of this race remaining. At least 40 minutes. We're not even at half distance.
We're not at half distance, so we've got more than that.
Lamborghini on Lamborghini now on that long run down through turn 2 to turn 3 at the hairpin.
Well, it's turned to a one-team Super Trofeo for second. Motojima and Caldarelli. Caldarelli was the fastest driver in qualifying, but a technical infringement of some sort, which I'm not actually sure what it was, on that car saw them relegated to the back of the GT300 field. They're now battling for second, though only on pit stop cycle.
So Caldarelli making his way up from the back, as you say. A few of the early pit stoppers will have helped, but he's had a very positive afternoon, making his way forward from the red lights going out.
And I didn't think he saw the Wed Sport car until a little bit too late there, but we're waiting to see this pit sequence cycle through. We still have some GT300, GT500 cars who've yet to stop. Jan Mardenborough. We haven't seen him hand over his car to Daiki Sasaki quite yet.
I've been keeping my eye on the timing screens for any drive-through penalties.
Yeah, that's just come up, and JOTT has just asked that exact question. Any news on the potential penalty for Jan Mardenborough and JP Oliveira for that moment? I think my understanding is that they're still talking about it in race control.
Yeah, no news is good news for now, but it wouldn't be the first time that race control have discussed things for quite some time before then handing out a penalty later in the race. So I'm afraid we'll just have to wait and see.
Do you know what they're doing? They're having a mid-race cuppa.
Are they really?
That's what they do in SuperGT Bando-san. Oh, and there's the pit stop for the Wed Sport car. I do love the paint job on that car.
It's so iconically Super GT, Japanese GT. Some really exciting use of chrome and fluorescent yellow. Yep, fantastic. I'm right there with you. Looking at the fuel going in as well.
And this team is actually one of the reasons that there may be a little bit of a question mark about the DTM Class 1 regulations. Now, the DTM wanted to have completely spec wheels, but those wheels you're seeing going on are Wed Sport wheels.
And there were 4 of them going on as well, Sam. Just making a note, Wed Sport took 4.
Now, that car has its own bespoke wheels made for it every single season. As we're seeing the Zenitsurumo car on its way in as well. We just saw the pit board going out. Yuji Kunimoto taken over the wheel of that. As Heikki Kovalainen remains leading from Felix Rosenqvist.
I think Ronnie Quintarelli pitted right at the back of our picture as well. I saw a red flash disappear from left to right.
Could well have done. It's not showing currently on the timing screens. He was up to 8th position, just behind Satoshi Motoyama in 9. Jan Mardenborough now is in the pits, however. He'll be handing over to Daiki Sasaki. And no, Ronnie didn't pit. That was the Zenitsurumo car you saw coming in.
Ah, okay.
Or possibly the BMW, which we are seeing. One of the things about these Autobacks sponsored cars, and we are missing somebody. There was a mission at the beginning of this event, but
what, a gentleman in a coloured jacket.
Yeah, don't know where he'd gone, but that is extremely orange as we reach halfway point of this race. You're watching NISMO TV, live Super GT, full uninterrupted, full season coverage with the NISMO Festival at the end of the year. Like and subscribe if you want more of this, because there is so much more to come.
And one thing to come will be the man we're looking at here in the driving seat of this BMW will be jumping into a Nissan for the Spa 24 Hours. Sean Walkinshaw will be allegedly driving for Bob and Liz Neville at RJN, so looking forward to seeing him back in the Nissan fold. There's another Nissan GT3, the 300 of the Gainer Tanax car. He'll be now leading, he said, hopefully.
He should be, because he hasn't pitted yet.
Yep.
And that, because it's quite a short lap here at Buriram, as we have to call it. Oh, new fastest lap of the race, just before I'll interrupt myself. Number 36, Yuki Sekiguchi, has just set the fastest lap of the race. Not long out of the pits, that either.
Benefiting from fresh rubber.
Yep.
Fresh rubber on a rubbered-in track, and lap times, they're going to tumble.
Or is he using them up too quickly?
Very good point. Oh, look, there was Sean Walkinshaw going very, very defensive there to try and keep that Lexus behind. I think there might... Oh, look. It was almost, if not, contact.
Now, you'll notice that it's a Lamborghini 1-2 in GT300. That's partly because those cars haven't pitted yet. They're trying to work their way back up through the field after having issues in qualifying.
Yeah, going long, hoping to benefit from a late pit stop strategy.
Key point to remember, you'll see a little bit of ebb and flow at the pit stops. Is why we sort of stopped talking about the track position so much at the moment, because the cars are in pit cycle. Because there's no tyre warmers in Super GT, it can take a car at least a lap to get back up to full pace, and you'll see the position yo-yo massively, to the point where it almost seems like the car's got a problem. And you'll see them really struggling to get the heat into the tyre. We'll see that when he finally stops for Heikki Kovalainen. We'll also see it for that number 11 Gainer Tannock's car. But how far they stretch out their first stint, so we're coming up to lap 35 now, which is, I say, probably the end of the sort of ideal pit window.
Yes.
Depending on who your second driver is and what your tyre is. Each tyre manufacturer brings their own soft, medium, hard compound tyre.
And the construction of tyre suitable for that particular car and this particular circuit.
Yep.
Keeper Toms, boom, he stops. So they will take, it looks like a pair of front tyres before the refuelling.
Nick Cassidy hops out of that. I don't think he's going to have to worry about opening a bottle of champagne today.
No, it doesn't look that way, does it?
Ronnie Quintarelli also there, giving over to Sugio Matsuda. Sugio quite capable of lighting up any circuit, really. 4
fresh Michelins laid out on the tarmac for him as well.
Yeah, he will be pushing super hard in that Motul Ortec GT-R.
There's the rears going on the Keeper Tom's car. Well, no.
Oh, that's not gone well.
They've still got the wheel nut attached, and this is going to... Sugo Matsuda makes up a place at the pit stop.
Oh, it's all gone very, very wrong there for the Toms team. That's unusual for Tom, and is it wheel stuck now?
Yeah, the gun was jammed on the wheel nut, and it's damaged the wheel nut.
That's very bad news for the...
What was that, about a 30-second loss?
Yeah, that was huge. And the Wacos car came in, but we didn't see that come in because we were watching the Keeper Toms. A lot of teams struggling here in Thailand, aren't there? More than you're used to seeing. And I just wonder if it's a funny little psychological thing of the used to racing in Japan and then suddenly, being out of your comfort zone in a circuit in a less than popular part of Thailand.
And they've watched for the last 45 minutes an incredibly close race where tenths of a second count. And they're coming into the pit stops full of adrenaline. And yeah, we're seeing the pit crews making small, unusual mistakes, Sam. You're right.
So, just a little bit of an update on the weather. There are showers in the area. Yeah, there's showers to the north of them, to the south of them, to the east of them, and to the west of them.
The blue sky has gone, and it's been replaced by that white, grey sky, and the humidity is on the rise.
And some of those showers are extremely intense.
30 laps to go.
So we may see some drops of rain before the end of this. Now, I'm just trying to find out which direction the rain is heading in.
And that's all it would take, Sam. It wouldn't take a huge downpour. Just a few drops of rain on a track where all the cars are running on slicks. It would just spice it up. Race leader in the pits.
Heikki Kovalainen handing over there to Kamui Kobayashi.
Heikki's wife, Catherine, has accompanied him to the track this weekend. The humidity, I've heard, has played havoc with her hair. Hashtag fluffy hair, but there's nothing wrong with that. She'll be ever so pleased with his performance, and Heikki doing a great job and making up handsomely for that mistake he made at Suzuka at the last round.
He probably doesn't want to be reminded of that mistake he made at Suzuka at the last round.
I've only mentioned it 3 times, and that's the last time I'll mention it.
Yuji Kunimoto is a car that Heikki Kovalainen, actually Kamui Kobayashi is going to have to look out for. Setting a new fastest lap of the race, 1:25.1, way quicker now than the lap record. Lap record has gone, despite these cars meaning to be lower downforce and slightly slower.
They're just getting faster and faster and faster year on year. It's amazing to think of the power being produced from these relatively small internal combustion engines.
In the GT500 class, there's Tsurumo cars having more pit trouble. See, this is what I'm talking about. There seems to be, and it seems to be affecting the Lexi more than any other car.
I wonder if it's a new component trouble.
Well, no, because one was the front, one was the rear.
So it wouldn't be anything to do with drive pegs or wheel location. No, it could just be finger trouble. Wow.
There you go. We have a solution in the studio.
A small Allen key?
Yeah, that's the solution.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Well, the NISMO wheels aren't falling off.
I forget we have a studio cam sometimes.
Those watching it don't. New fastest lap again for Sekiguchi now set the fastest lap of 1:25 dead.
Oh, we're going to be in for the 24s ever so shortly.
We certainly are.
If there's anything that should make you click like and subscribe, should be a lap round Buriram in the 24s.
Well, the prospect of watching Kamui Kobayashi going at it around a track this lively and a race this lively with a prospect of rain coming.
I'm now looking around for a like button to hit myself. That's just
I hit the like button. You're watching SuperGT on NISMO TV, and this is quite exciting, isn't it?
It's extremely exciting. We're just coming to the end of our round of pit stop cycles, and the race settling down somewhat, but yeah, still.
Yeah, it's only because they're waiting for the tyres to come in. You'll see these battles resume. Oh, and trouble for the number 8. Hasn't really featured in this race. The Honda NSX GT.
Honda did really well in qualifying. They've been dominant in the last couple of meetings, but having a bit of a mare today, aren't they?
I think that the issue of the Honda is the track was wet in the first session, then it dried, and it was just a completely green track, and it just seemed to suit the Honda with its mid-engined layout. I don't think a rubbered-in track, it isn't working.
No.
That layout isn't working on this track.
I'm already starting to think now about our, as it stands, championship table. And
it's a bit early for that, mate.
No, but we're mixing things up now, left, right and centre.
There's Felix Rosenquist. He put in a great race today.
Yeah, he's delighted, and he should be. Brilliant drive from Felix Rosenquist.
We need new mugs.
Hashtag new mugs. That's the third and final time I'll mention hashtags as well on this show. I'm 43 years old. I'm far too old for that.
And also not on social media.
Again, I'm just too old for social media.
I think if you're in the chat, if we get to 2,500 likes, we will set up a Twitter account for Barffy.
Right, okay, that's the deal. 2,500 likes this morning, and I will go on Twitter.
There you go. That has got to be done. So there we go, with additional sponsorship on the Wedsport Lexus from Arto, which is the sponsor of the Thai team. So I wonder if that's just on for this race, or
quite possibly.
Is the Wedsport team going to go a bit Thai?
Iconic livery on that car. It's great, isn't it? The Lamborghini's continuing to run long at the head of the GT300 field. That's the car that the Denso Lexus is making its...
didn't see him there again.
Making its move on. I always think when I come up behind a Lexus a Lamborghini GT3 car, how much of his mirrors can I see? And the side mirrors are tiny. They run a rear-facing camera, but at this stage in the race, there'll be quite a lot of rubber and oil residue on the back of that camera, and visibility in the back of those Lamborghinis is notoriously poor.
Unlike the new Nissan GT-R GT3, where the rear visibility is great. Not that you'll need it, because you're leading.
There we go, said a spokesperson.
My name's Gareth.
Morning, Gareth, if you're listening. Thank you for your lovely email.
That was a very dramatic. I thought someone was having a very big accident. Of course, it's one of those tracks where the pit exit is just there. But someone has had a moment at turn 9. I'll try to see who that is.
Yeah, turn 9, the double apex right.
No one seems to have stopped moving at turn 9, but the yellow flag is out. So I'm not quite sure what that's for, but here is the battle for the lead. Kamui Kobayashi and Oshima trying to get past him.
Yeah, the Wacos car looking as it did in the hands of Felix Rosenqvist, very, very racy. Oshima looked to make a move on the inside of Kamui Kobayashi at turn 3. Here we come into the super fast left-hander at turn 4. The car's really leaning on their tyres as they make their way round now into the much, much tighter section of turn 5.
Caldarelli pits in the Lamborghini.
Thank you very much. Turn 6 opens into 7. Now we're coming down into the area where that yellow flag was, Sam, here at turn 8 and turn 9.
No idea what that yellow flag was about, but it was there and now it's not.
No, all clear. Long, long left. Ah, no, there we are. It's one of the Prius.
That will do it. Not showing on my car tracker, but there you go.
The hazard is still there, but the hazard flag has gone.
Yeah, we'll just leave it there. Driving moral Prius penalty.
Oh, I thought you were going to complete your sentence with the words hazard then, and I glanced down at the screen for Jan Mardenborough's name, but no news is continuing to be good news for Jan, touch wood.
Pit winner at the moment is looking like the number 3 car with Chio up to 5th position
and benefiting from a super clean stop.
Sugo Matsuda has just lost a position to Ishiura, which is surprising. So we're going to have and the red car and the blue car are on track together.
Wow, okay, so the red car showing really good consistent race pace despite that fuel flow restriction and the massive lump of ballast in the passenger seat.
64 kilos.
That's gone beyond small grid girl size. We're into like
slightly bigger grid girl size. Yeah. If you haven't watched SuperGT on NISMO TV before, you'll discover there is something of a rivalry between the Motor Ortec GT-R, the red car, and the Calsonic Team Impul GT-R GT500, the blue car. And they do have some form. So, shall we say?
What? Are you saying the red corner and the blue corner have got form against each other?
Yeah.
Surely not.
There is the Arto RCF, that's the Thai team.
Enjoying their home race, I'm sure.
Shame they couldn't think of a better livery, but there you go. And that battle seems to have stabilised at the front. Now, the TRD engineers and TRD management are not beyond putting team orders on the Lexus cars. It's not something you see in Nissan and to a much lesser extent in Honda, but TRD are much more willing to apply team orders.
And this is the first race I can think of for quite some time, Sam, where we have Lexus running 1-2 with a reasonable gap back to P3. We've got 6.5 seconds now between P2 and P3, so this is relatively comfortable at the head of the field for Lexus, and they need that for the championship, which so far has been a Nissan and a Honda affair, as we see finally now the Lamborghinis coming in to make their pit stop. And look, your Cintium Evora is now up into the GT300 lead.
Yeah, I mean, the Evora seems to have remembered how it goes racing and just stay out for as long as possible and then win race. Though it never has actually won a race. It's broken down before winning a couple of times. This is a good battle in GT500, however. There is the... Oh, well, this is another battle in GT500.
So that's the one for the lead, and the one that we were looking at a moment ago was the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th.
Which was a arguably better battle than this one, actually. But yeah, Chio has really benefited in the Craft Sports GT-R. That white car. First year for the BMAX engineering team in GT500. They were a GT300 team up until this season. Yellow flag is out at turn 8 and 9. Is that to recover a stricken Prius? I don't know.
Chio and Daisuke Nakajima separated by less than 1/10 of a second. It would be great to be watching that battle there, clearly running side by side. This is the battle, though, for the lead between the two
There
Lexus,
is that
and
battle.
This is the battle we were talking about a moment ago.
Now that is Honda, Nissan, Toyota all going head to head. And Chio is in the middle. There's the GT300 class leader just in front of them. That's the Lotus.
Coming down into the slowest corner on the circuit. What could possibly go wrong? Here we go, folks. 3 abreast, 2 classes of racing. The leader goes through the middle of the 2 GT300 cars.
Both of those are the mother chassis cars with the carbon fibre monocoque. But look at this battle. Chio lost out a little bit there, and it created an opportunity for the Zenitsurumo car driven by Ishiura to get a run. Daisuke Nakajima, though, heading that little pack. It's actually a battle for 5th. I read the wrong column when I was looking at the...
I let you off. There's no beauty in perfection, and the little mistakes we make, I feel, adds a certain something to our fabulous coverage. Click like, click subscribe.
Is that what you used to say on team radio when you had a problem?
What do you mean, used to?
Well, this battle is going strong. Now, Chio has had an interesting race because they came from really nowhere, and that yellow flag was out to recover the stricken Prius. The Craft Sport car wasn't particularly strong in qualifying. However, good pit strategy has seen him rise up the field now to where he's running 6th. But Ishiura in the Zenitsurumo car wasn't far off battling for the lead, if you remember. And, well, it looks like those Lexus tyres are going to start working again. But don't forget, the Hondas saw this pattern of being strong on fresh tyres and then fade. So don't expect to see that Motul-sponsored NSX stay where it is for very long. Give it another 5-6 laps, and I think you'll see the Hondas starting to fade. 2/3 of the distance of the race is over. And this is the point where I expect to see people try and put that final strategy in. But there is still this question mark. Look to the sky. Could there be a sudden downpour in the final laps?
Stranger things have happened as the race leaders come past the section neutralised by yellow flags. The Wacos car there having to wait behind the slower GT300 Mercedes.
And it's... I think we should have a listen to these cars because they sound great as the yellow flags come out. Who says turbocharged engines and fuel flow limiters have to sound bad? Now, there you go. Crucial fact here. Car 1, Car 2, well, the first, second and third in GT300 have yet to stop. So if the cars that have stopped, the race leader on the track is the Nissan GT-R of Gainer Tanax.
Brilliant run from them. They held that watching brief early in the race, did a super job to keep the race leaders within sight, and have inherited the will-be race lead on pit stop strategy. So brilliant job by them.
We're watching your comments coming in on the chat, so we are reading them. It's just the racing's been quite exciting, so we haven't been able to engage with it. Request for news on Class 1 racing, the DTM Super GT merger. We did that at the start of the show, so I'm not going to repeat that. But you can wind that back or watch it on demand later on as Hatsune Miku makes her long-awaited, well, it's actually a second stop after that slightly false start. And I think that's Nob Taniguchi getting in. No one better. We're also expecting a stop from the Lotus Evora, but we've seen this from the Lotus where it just stays out forever and makes a stop, then maybe has a chance of winning, but it hasn't ever achieved that. So tell us about the same thing then, Rob.
I couldn't possibly comment. Yes, I have done a little research on those cars as of late, but here we have another Lexus on Lexus battle.
Sensational.
Stop it.
Kunimoto holding off Teguchi at the moment. And I think that makes us, yes it does, it's a Lexus 1, 2, 3, 4. And that is why it's all a little bit line astern, I think, at the front, certainly. I think team orders have gone out and saying, yeah, that'll do.
They certainly need this for the championship, though, remember.
It has been. In the warm-up, the Lexi were dominant. I don't know, is Oshima beginning to ease up onto the back of Kobayashi? I think he is. Yeah, he's about 4/10 of a second quicker. Only one retirement from GT500, and that was the Forum Engineering car. The driver-induced retirement. Now, Daiki Sasaki going wheel to wheel with Katsumasa Chiyo and not passing him. Now, Chio has lost that 6th position to Ishiura. We didn't see it so much. Oh, the rear lights. Have a look at the rear lights on the blue car.
Yeah,
they've gone.
The Calsonic car looks like it's been in the wars.
No,
there, Sam.
that is. Yeah, there's a lot of damage on the Calsonic car. Now, where did that come from? Huge damage, in fact.
Talking and thinking at the same time is often dangerous. However, I'm thinking that massive lump of debris we saw on the outside of turn 1 could have been an inner wheel arch liner. As that has come out, it's torn out the rear wiring and indeed the rear light clusters of that car.
Now, that's more than the damage done by JP Oliveira. I think that blue car's hit something else quite hard.
I'll have to look for a replay of that one, but Chio, again, we see him looking in his mirrors a little bit. Last time we saw him do that, he went from 5th to 6th. And now he's looking to defend that place and avoid going from 7th to 8th.
So, lots of questions about the Hatsune Miku car. Did they change the tyres? I'm going to wind back and have a look.
I honestly didn't notice. I was looking at the tyre. I was looking at the driver change at the time. I didn't manage to get to see the tyre strategy guys.
Just having a quick look, and I will get back to you on Hatsune Miku's rubber and find out if they decided to make that change. I think they did, but
contact there between the Lexus and the red Nissan. The Lexus bounced off to driver's left. Looks like that both cars have continued unhurt though.
We're still not entirely sure about the level of damage on the Calsonic blue car. It's extreme. It's going to have an aerodynamic effect for sure, but will it? What was that? Just a Nissan on Nissan incident? I don't think it was. We saw the number 25 Hoppy 86 go out into the garage, so trouble for that car.
Sugo Matsuda finally has a little break in the traffic and manages to get a couple of car lengths clean air between him and the battling Keeper Tom's car behind.
I'm just watching Hatsune Miku's pit stop again. Motor Tech 23. Well, work going on in the garage. Is there some issue with the car, or are they expecting rain? It looks like the cloud base is lifted somewhat.
Yeah, no, the clouds have cleared in the last few laps. Perhaps they were worried about that contact between the 23 and the number 1 car. Just getting the puncture set ready.
And it does look to me like the Hatsune Miku car did go for the 0 tyre option. So no new tyres for the 0 car.
Just going to hang on the single set of tyres till the end.
That's quite a brave move, I think.
That's going to be a horrible last 15 minutes for them.
Yeah, I think they're going to struggle to keep that position.
A few years ago at the Dubai 24 Hours, we had a wheel nut stick. Our right rear wheel nut stuck fast at 22 hours, and I did the last 2 hours of the race on the same right rear tyre, so I was taking 3 fresh tyres at the stop and left 1 old one on, and it was horrendous. You drive just expecting the tyre to fail at any moment, and yeah, that's what the drivers of the Hatsune Miku car are going to be in for. Oh, big slide there from the Keeper Tom's car as the Motor Tech car has to go defensive on the run down to turn 3, which we're not looking at anymore.
I'm getting messages of no rain expected, and the sun is shining, but I don't trust it because I've looked at the sats and there is rain around. And we decided to come and make a detour. Hit like and hit subscribe and head to SuperGT like you should all do on a regular basis.
Motor racing circuits are notorious for their microclimates, the amount of rising heat off the tarmac and the wind being affected by the large grandstands often causes clouds to bubble up. And the humidity around here today is nasty, really huge humidity and high temperatures. So,
and that's just in the NISMO bunker.
Absolutely.
It's so warm because they're actually honing behind this screen behind us is the dyno cell for the 2019 Class 1 engine. So that's why it's a little bit warm. They run the exhaust out underneath here.
If only the viewers knew what was really happening at 10:15 on a Sunday morning behind that screen.
No, exactly what I just said. I mean, that's what normally goes on in Yokohama.
There we go.
And there is the GT300 leader.
Yes, 23.
With a fair margin, I have to say. 6.7 seconds over Sean Walkinshaw in the BMW. Hironaka at the wheel of that. There he is.
He'll be charging, hoping to keep Sean, who's got sight of that Gaynor Tanak's car, behind him.
Walkinshaw is running faster, but only by about 0.2 of a second.
Should we let new viewers in on the Sean Walkinshaw joke,
no.
or it's up to them to watch and... Yeah, okay. If you're unsure why Sam calls Sean Walkinshaw, click like, click subscribe, go and watch the previous runs of many Super GT races.
2014, I think.
There we go, yeah.
About 5th and 6th there. The question came in, did the Lotus Evora pit finally? Yes, it did.
Did we see it?
No.
No, we didn't.
Now, Candy Mitsu has asked a very good question. Are there any plans for Super GT to return to Malaysia or a racing career or any other Asian track in future? Yes, there are. There absolutely are plans for Super GT to go to some other tracks. I've spoken to Bando about this. They would absolutely love it, but they need to find the right promoter. And here's that battle going on, and oh, wow.
Oh, the keeper Tom's car makes an incredibly late move on Sugo Matsuda.
Oh, and the Keihin car nearly getting into that back of him as well.
Great stuff from Ryo Hirakawa. Really good stuff.
And there's a car we've not even mentioned in the commentary so far, the Epson car.
Oh, I didn't even know he was here.
Yeah. And this is important for the championship battle, of course.
It is. Let's have a look at the
There was contact there, actually.
Yeah, the Toyota Prius getting in the way as they came out of turn 11, dived downhill towards turn 12, and yeah, there was definitely a rub of bodywork or two.
So that battle is one to watch, but oh no, the 23, that 64 kilos of ballast is really holding it back. And this will have an impact on the championship positions. Just 1 point in it at the top. New fastest lap of the race. Sekiguchi again. 25.0. Ronnie doesn't look too happy about that.
As you wouldn't, you know, you're always fighting a losing battle with the fuel flow restriction and the amount of ballast on your car, and it's just a case of doing the best job you possibly can. And they have worked their way up via canny pit stop strategy into a strong position, but now again the pace of the car just being held back prohibitively.
If you like this, want to find out more about what's going on behind the scenes of these teams and some of these drivers, like Ronnie Quintarelli, there's a bunch of videos elsewhere on NISMO TV. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Just put loads. There's loads more we're going to be releasing through the years. So we looked at Eric Comas recently and his JGTC winning Nissan GT-R GT500, both of them together, which was the first time I think they'd run together, and he'd been reunited with them since winning the championship. We actually took one out on track as well. There's Hatsune Miku in the middle of everything. And we also have a look at Ronnie Quintarelli, his number 23 and me, his life as a Nissan GT-R works driver. Brilliant video, that one. And there's a few other insights behind the scenes. And we even get behind into the cockpit of one of these GT-R GT500s and take them out for a spin around Fuji Speedway. But look at these battles now. Super aggressive movement from the keeper Tom's car. And
that's Ryo Hirakawa
again. He's really just chucking it around, isn't he?
He loves that move down into turn 12. He's really found a sweet spot with that car on the brakes and gains another position.
The way he must be throwing the steering wheel, he must be on the absolute verge of losing the car when he does that.
It's just a flick of the wheel and down the inside he goes.
But I mean, that level of movement to hold it, to not lose the back end when he's doing that.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like the Wacos car has had the order that, well, if you can have a clean pass, you're allowed to have a go. They seem to have pressed the button saying, yep, you're allowed to race now.
And the gap has come down from, 6 car lengths to closer to perhaps 3 car lengths now.
Well, it's Lexus, and indeed Lexus ahead of Daisuke Nakajima, who is 24 seconds off the first non-Lexus. Quite a big old gap, so Lexus feel fairly confident to let their front runners race now.
13 laps to go. not all done and dusted yet, and Ryo Hirakawa still pushing incredibly hard. He's got a little gap now before he gets on the back of Daiki Sasaki, but Sasaki will have had the radio message. He's coming.
Now, Rob, if tyres just take seconds to put on, why would you not change your tyres? It doesn't take very long to do the tyre change.
It doesn't take very long to do the tyre change, but you lose track position there, hoping that by just gaining vital track position, that'll be able to hold cars behind. It's just a gamble. It really is a gamble. Sometimes when the tyres drop off, they drop off by only a few tenths of a second. Sometimes when they drop off the side of a cliff, and yeah, they're gambling. Having had that early problem, they're doing everything they possibly can now just to make amends for that.
Well, look at that. The leaders just put a lap on the Raybrig NSX. It's got to be pretty depressing. Kamui Kobayashi there, leading from Oshima, Sekiguchi in 4th, Kunimoto 5th, Nakajimi Daisuke in 5th, Ishiura 6th, Daiki Sasaki in 7th, Hirakawa in 8th. And actually the first non-Japanese driver now is Bertie Baguette down in 10th. Which is actually quite unusual.
Yeah, normally there's more of a sprinkling of European talent. Obviously Nick Cassidy is always in there as well. And yeah, Japanese drivers dominant at the head of the field. And yeah, the top 3 Lexus now running almost nose to tail. The Tom Zayu car flashing the lights at that lapped Honda in the middle of the sandwich.
Now, I didn't expect we knew that from warm-up the Lexi were really quite quick, but I didn't quite expect them to be this, especially in the second half of the race. We knew the Hondas would fade on their tyres, but they've just dropped away to nothing.
I was really hoping for a good run from the Calsonic car as well.
Look at this. There's something very wrong with that NSX. He's just driven off the track all on his own. It looks like he hasn't got control of the Raybrig car there. I'm not quite sure what the issue there is with that.
Yeah, he's a huge way off the pace. Kaz Nakajima looks on.
Yeah, he's not in the lead. Your car's not leading at the moment, but your team car is. Thick Banana says new tyres equals cold tyres. Absolutely, there are no tyre warmers in this championship, so when the car pits it does take them a while to get back up to speed, but these cars with 11 laps to go have all got back up to speed.
Kaz Nakajima clearly
warming up for Notting Hill Carnival. We'll have this whistle out next. Of course, the only real carnival we're interested in is a carnival of racing. And there's plenty of that coming up on NISMO TV, but today is a big day of racing action. The Prius number 31 hadn't seen Kobayashi, and that's
held up the race leader. The race leader being forced, leader being forced to go defensive.
Well, there's a reason Nakajima was so happy as this battle for the lead, because, and I'll tell you in a while, as the lead is about to change, Oshima tries to go around the outside of Kobayashi and straight off, and they're both off. They both went off, and that's what I was about to say, is look behind them, that orange and white blur is Yuhi Sekiguchi, who has just set the fastest lap of the race, a 1:24.9. He's on a mission.
There we go, we're in the 24, folks. Hit like, hit subscribe.
Get your finger guns out and press them on the like button.
Sekiguchi really flying, and the 2 Lexus at the head of the field were just waiting for each other to brake, and that's clearly brought the balance back towards Sekiguchi.
And he's going to get into second any moment now. He's up the inside, turning into the right-hander. Sekiguchi is up to third. Now getting past that GT300 car. That's why Kaz Nakajima has got a big smile on his face, saying, get out of the way, GT300. And now there is a new battle for the lead. The big loser there, though, was Oshima, who has been balked terribly by the Leon AMG. And now Sekiguchi is right on the tail of Kamui Kobayashi.
More GT300 lapped cars ahead.
Bouncing over the curb. That's just going to feel that in the morning.
Yeah. Big aggressive exit curb there on the exit of turn 12.
Takes the drivers a couple of days to get back to Tokyo from here. It's not an easy journey. So good opportunity for some celebration, and I think there's going to be a lot of celebration in the TRD truck and some slightly heated conversation in the NISMO truck.
Lexus is safely through the apex of turn 3, where we saw them running wide last time, and oh, look at that traffic coming up the slower GT300 cars. This is going to play into the hands of Sekiguchi. We know he cuts through traffic like a hot knife through butter.
10 laps to go. You're watching Super GT live from Thailand on NISMO TV. We've got a great battle for the lead. Kamui Kobayashi holding off Yu Sekiguchi, both in Lexus LC500s, down in GT300. Nissan GT-R GT3 leads. There it is, the number 11 Gainer Tanak's car, but hunting him down, taking over a second a lap out of that GT-R at the moment is Sean Walkinshaw in the BMW, and there's the battle for the lead of GT500, mixing with the leader of GT300 and nearly changing position.
Sorry, I almost fell off my chair then. That was, we spoke about it earlier. You see a white and coloured Lexus, you move out the way and, oh, there's two of them. You just haven't spotted the second one, and that's what we saw with the Gainer Tanak's car there. Blimey, that was close.
1.7 seconds separates GT300 leader from GT300 second. The battle is about to be joined in the second class now, and not far behind them, 2.3 seconds further back, is the third position car. This whole race is concertinaing. There's 9 laps to go.
Wow, and you can see there in the background the bright orange Arta BMW of Sean Walkinshaw hunting down the Gainer Tanak's car ahead. Sekiguchi just holding a watching brief behind Kobayashi. If Kobayashi puts a foot wrong, Sekiguchi will be through.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely... I don't even think he needs to put a foot wrong. Sekiguchi might just do it on sheer pace. He's been the quickest driver consistently in the second half of the race, and he's right on the tail of Kamui Kobayashi.
Both these Lexuses on Bridgestones?
I believe so.
Or is Sekiguchi on Yokohama's?
No, they're both on Bridgestones.
They're both on Bridgestones, okay.
I think the only Yokohama TRD car is the wet spot.
You're right, it is. Beg your pardon. Yes, I was just thinking whether the tyres were coming into the mix slightly, but no.
Nick Cassidy doesn't look very happy. Yellow flag out at turn 1. That's one of the key overtaking spots on this 4.5 kilometre circuit.
And they're coming through turn 12 now to complete the lap, turn 1, where there's a yellow flag waiting for them. So no overtaking down here for the moment. Will the race neutralised through that section? We'll wait to see why.
Hatsune Miku is a fast lady, and she's the fastest in the GT300 class, but nowhere near, not going to have any chance of getting near the front. The gap between first and second in a GT500 has gone back out to 5 seconds, so some bad traffic there for Sean Walkinshaw, and that's brought him into the clutches of Miyata in the number 60 car. Then Gamu and Hirate, and there's the lead.
Kobayashi just ran wide to the centre of turn 3, distracted by a little bit of traffic and lost a little momentum, and that's cost him as they come up to that super fast corner at turn 4, side by side.
That was contact. They're not really meant to do that in the same team, but look behind them. It's the Wacos car. Oshima's back. This is a battle for the top 3.
So Oshima,
and there's it's the MC86 that's crashed from rear end into the wall. The other Kobayashi, no relation.
So that's at the exit of turn 1. You just saw the pit exit coming out there as the race leaders make the move on that giant Bentley.
And he got right in the way of their Tom's car, but not too much time was lost. The Wacos car needs to be a bit more aggressive. And he's been blocked by the Bentley as well, so fair blocking. Kunamoto isn't all that far behind this battle at the moment. It's like 8 laps to go. This is far from a done deal.
Yeah, 7 laps to go. This is a sprint for the flag.
The message has gone out to Hironaka in the Gainer Tanak's GT-R GT3. He has put his foot down and he's improving his lap times, but Sean Walkinshaw is still coming. Only taking 2 tenths of a second out now. Could do it on traffic. There's none of these classes are decided. 0.5 seconds. Kohei Orate is making his way back through the field as well after having problems earlier on, and that is just right on the tail of the GT300 cars now.
If you were watching the studio cam, you will have seen me looking incredibly quizzical, and that's the face I pull when I'm doing mathematics in my head, and I was just trying to work out how much Sean Walkinshaw needs to take out of that Gainer Tanak's per lap with only 7 to go. But looking at the lap tracker, you can't do mathematics when there's this level of track on such a short lap. Remember, folks, we're looking here at a lap of under 5 kilometres, 4.5 kilometres, so under 3 miles in length. with a massive grid of cars still running in gaggles on there.
I'm looking at the overall map of the car and where the car's positioned around the track. And this car's it's the long and the short of it. The traffic is absolutely all over the road, and that's why you're seeing the Sekiguchi having a look at Kobayashi. He's not done, but he's got to be careful. Oshima is right there now. They come down, start, finish straight. He's going to get a tow. He's not even going to bother trying.
Kobayashi had to take a little excursion there and got some dirt on his tyres, and that will have cost him. Coming down into turn one. I wonder if there's still a yellow flag there. I wonder if he's still benefited from the yellow flag.
Is gone.
Okay.
This is a battle now. I mean, they're about to lose the lead lap now. It's number 3, Craft Sports GT-R GT500. That's how hot the pace has been on this short track.
Yeah, it only seems like a moment ago we were talking about Chio being in 5th position, and now he's, had a lap put on him.
Something about this very flat, very Hermann Tilke, very new Chang International Circuit just works for these cars, doesn't it?
Always gives us great racing.
It's a bit like Sugo.
Yes, very much so, very much so. Always gives us great racing. The circuit was opened, as you say, Sam, in 2014, so it is a new venue on paper. Not that good a racetrack to look at, but wow, always delivers great racing. And as I said in the pre-show, just a chance for overtaking as we come down into turn 3 with it being so wide.
Now this is the battle for the lead, for the win. 6 laps to go here at Chang International Circuit. Lexus, and Lexus, but which one is going to win? Slight slide there from Sekiguchi. Now I'm wondering if his tyres are beginning to go.
Boom! You're 10 seconds ahead of me. As soon as I saw the back of Sekiguchi's car slide, I kind of glanced down, had a look at how long to go, and thought, yep, his rears are starting to go away, and he's clearly pushing very, very hard.
Now look at the little gap that Oshima's got. Now is that because he can't quite latch on, or is he just hovering back there, holding it, keeping his tyres good, and going to have a lunge in 5 to go? He's going to have a lunge in a couple of laps' time.
Yeah, that's the gap where you would just wait and watch. Basically, he's not losing any time at all. You can bring that down in a single braking area almost. But yeah, the cars do look a handful on the brakes into turn 3 there. The tyres certainly past their best. So 5 to go. Kobayashi, Sekiguchi and Oshima still with more GT300 lapped cars ahead.
We're not seeing it on screen for obvious reasons, but there's also a great battle going on for 4th position in GT500. 2 cars absolutely together, Ishiura and Nakajima running, like that's Daisuke Nakajima, running around together. Daiki Sasaki not all that far behind them either, but he's not closing the gap up very much. Then down in GT300, Hironaka has definitely got the message, and that gap's gone out to 6 seconds, but 2nd position in GT300 is a little bit lesser, and with Miyata not all that far behind Sean Walkinshaw. But this is where all the action is at the front of the field as the cars work their way through the GT300 traffic. Shima doesn't seem to be able to quite get with the other 2, does he? He's just...
Nope, just a couple of car lengths behind. There's a car we haven't seen today as well, the D-Station Porsche. He's been out there all afternoon and almost got his nose chopped off there by the Tom's car.
Now, if you're enjoying this action here live on NISMO TV, don't forget to hit like and subscribe. We need more. We need at least 1,000 likes. Otherwise, Rob Barff will have problems.
God, I really wondered what you were going to say then.
I wasn't sure either. Look, we really need you to hit like and subscribe. You're watching Super GT here on NISMO TV with 4 laps to go of this 300-kilometre race live from Thailand.
62 laps completed, almost 260 kilometres completed, and our top 3 are covered by less than a second. Welcome to Super GT, folks. Click like, click subscribe. This is where it's at, and that's our GT300 race leader.
That's the new spec Nissan GT-R GT3. Great result for it here. Very strong performing car this now. Yellow flags are out.
Yeah, waved yellow down there at turn 3. I wonder why. It'd be nice if the camera follows Sean Walkinshaw all the way through the picture.
He's got issues with it. That's why he's losing time. Did you see? Back end of the car came around, and now he's got some Prius trouble. Now that Prius is not chasing Walker. It is. That's Kohei Hirate. That's for position for 2nd. That's what I was talking about.
That's what you said earlier in the race, didn't you? You said these more traditional, lighter Japanese GT, visibly smaller Japanese GT3 cars are more nimble around this track. And yeah, Sean Walkinshaw muscling that big BMW around, and yeah, the smart money now looking at Kohei Hirate.
Now, I'm going to say this once. Yes, it's a Toyota Prius, and yes, it has an LMP1 engine, and yes, it is a hybrid.
He's looking around the
outside.
outside.
All over, he's got a problem. His left rear's gone. Left rear tyre's gone.
Is that a puncture? It's a puncture, Sam.
Yeah.
Oh, disaster. Oh, GT300 championship leader.
Ah, yes, that's crucial. But also who's struggling is that we saw Hatsune Miku now. Is Walkinshaw with 3 laps to go. He's going to pit for a change, or is he going to try and just limp around? That's 3 laps to go for the GT500s, of course, not 3 laps to go for a GT300.
He's got to pit. Yeah. He's got to pit. Oh, catastrophe for Sean Walkinshaw.
And the Golf Porsche there. We didn't see that run into trouble, but the Golf Porsche was in the pit lane too.
Meanwhile, back at the Lexus battle at the head of the field.
No, that's not a close battle anymore. Only 1.8 seconds separates, obviously.
It's okay, they're coming in some lap traffic. That'll bunch them back up again.
3 laps to go. So that's good news for Hiranaka in the leading Nissan GT-R GT3. The Gainer Tanak's car, number 11. Second position in GT300, Kohei Hirate. Miyata in the number 60. Dropped to 3rd.
That should be job done in GT300 for the new specification Nissan GT-R of the Gainer Tanak's team.
I think that pretty much is, but there's 2 laps to go for these GT500 cars. And at the moment, you could say job done for Kobayashi, but Sekiguchi has been applying very hard for that job. And Oshima, well, he wants the position too.
Sekiguchi, out of the 3 drivers we're looking at, has probably been the most aggressive. Although the Wacos car, particularly in the hands of Felix Rosenquist, has been in the thick of the action today as well. But yeah, the podium finishing Lexi, all in the same shots as they have been for the last 4 or 5 laps now.
Loads of brake dust now pouring off the number 6 Wacos car, making me think maybe he's dropping back because he's run out of brakes.
Of course, the circuit here in Thailand, extremely hard on the brakes with that huge stop at the end of turn 3 and at turn 5.
Yeah, there's quite a few big stops here. There's, we're about to see one, but just have a look at how dirty the side of the Wacos car is when it turns away from your camera compared to the other 2 in front of it. I'm beginning to think they might have a few issues there.
Last lap, Sam. Last lap.
Final lap here at Chang International Circuit, round 4 of the Super GT Championship, and there's trouble for the AU Tom's car. He's out of gas.
It's popping and banging.
He's out of gas. Unbelievable. The fastest car in the field. Sensational, I might even say. Sekiguchi is, well, he's probably not going to get to the finish of the race. Who's in 4th position? It's Yuji Kunimoto.
So the problems occurring after turn 1. Turn 1, really quick right-hand bend as what remaining fuel flows to one side of the tank, suffers fuel surge, and you could see the car physically popping and banging. Now, I'm thinking, are all the other Lexus running similar fuel flow strategies?
And this ain't done in GT300 yet. Kohei Hirate and Sean Walkinshaw are under investigation. There may have been contact between the Prius and the BMW that cut the tyre. It's not going to change the result for the BMW. It could change it for the Prius, but the number 11 car is still leading that class. But here in Thailand, Kamui Kobayashi leads on the final lap from Kazuya Oshima. Yuhi Sekiguchi is unlikely to finish in 3rd because Yuji Kunimoto is going to take, but the victory goes to Kamui Kobayashi, taken from Kazuya Oshima. Who will be 3rd though? Look at the top of the screen. Denso beat Wacos. It's a Lexus 1-2 and it should be a Lexus 1-2-3. It's the Wet Sport car in 3rd. Will the AU Tom's car even get 4th? I don't think it will. These cars are a lap down. There's the number 33 Motorlortec, Hatsune Miku. Again, lap down. We've yet to see the winners come in. 4th position still remains undecided.
No, Sekiguchi's not going to make it, Sam.
Coming to the flag now to take a fantastic victory for Nissan. No, there's Sekiguchi. He stopped.
You were
he's
right.
Out.
He's run out of fuel.
Yeah, he's out of the car. He's gutted. But they're just streaming through, and its victorious way, though, is the Gainer Tanak's GT-R number 11. The Nissan GT-R GT3 to take victory here in Thailand. The Calsonic GT-R finishes 6th in Daiki Sasaki, brought that home in 6th position. Solid result for a heavily damaged car.
Yeah, I was just thinking slightly battle-scarred, but good points in the bag for the Calsonic car, and a great heap of points there for the Gainer Tanax.
Just cruising across the line there.
Brilliant.
Great victory. There's the Prius. Now here's the battle for 3rd in that category, and I think that's a done deal. The Lexus just beats the Mercedes over the line. Wow, what a race.
Well, that's knocked the gloss off the Lexus victory, hasn't it?
Yeah.
One of their cars running out of fuel on the last lap. It was the last lap as he started the last lap.
And there's the celebrations down at the Gainer team, and head in his hands. It's Sekiguchi in tears. Thought he could win this. He doesn't want water, he wants petrol. He's totally had enough. Half a lap. Heikki Kovalainen and Kamui Kobayashi take victory here in Thailand. That car won the championship a couple of years ago, and I think they've got another chance of it this year now. Lexus very much back in the game.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try and do the maths on either championship table until we see it after the podium.
Hironaka and Yasuda victorious in GT300.
Another strong weekend for that new NISMO GT-R.
Now, if you haven't watched Super GT before, you're in for something different. The podium ceremonies will be coming up in full, and as we haven't had a fully fledged podium ceremony here in Thailand for a couple of years now, last year there was a state of mourning due to the death of the king. No longer a state of mourning in Thailand. We're just going to have a podium ceremony, and I don't know what's going to happen.
We never do, but it'll be as you said, a state of celebration in the Lexus truck, and Toyota management will be delighted, 99% delighted. One of their cars running out of fuel isn't ideal on the last lap, but locking out all three podium positions. He's got his wipers on, he's so happy.
Yeah, Kobayashi didn't get the message. You're supposed to drive into the board. The cars form up in the herringbone format, but there is your race winner. He hasn't got out of the car yet. I think Kamui wants to carry on. There is the winning Nissan. Chang, sponsor of the track. A malted beverage, I think you described it as.
Yeah, sparkling malty beverage.
Yeah. Never had it, actually.
My wife likes it.
There you go, Mrs. Barff, fan of Chang. Well, there he is, just a couple of weeks on from missing out on, well, the pits at Le Mans. And there they are, Heikki Kovalainen. So we'll get an interview in Finglish. And they've all started drumming again. There's the finger, victory finger, or victory thumb. Kamui Kobayashi, take your helmet off, Kamui. And then we'll get interviews from the winning crews. There's one of them. Great result. This car's now racing in British GT. The GT3 GT-R is the new one. Is in GT3. It's in Blancpain Endurance
and doing
Asian Le Mans. Asian.
Yes, Blancpain Asia.
Blancpain Asia. I think there might be one coming to Asian Le Mans, which is what's confusing me.
Yeah, and is doing well weekend on weekend. Remember, this is a retail product that NISMO are going to be selling to customer teams.
It is available now to customer teams. You can go and buy. If you're a GT3 team, you can go and buy this car. Well, not this exact car.
Imagine they'd be very unhappy.
Yeah, they're using it at the moment. But yeah, this winning GT3 spec car. And here we go, we'll get the interviews. There's Kamui Kobayashi, Heikki Kovalainen, the team boss of Saad. Doing the thumbs up. They're not doing the fingers.
Oh, triple thumbs.
Triple thumbs. And they left the door of the GT3 open just to show it off how great the interior is. I was hoping, in fact, I think if we get up to... How many likes are we on? So if we get up to 1,500 likes by the end of the podium ceremony, I think we should have on NISMO TV a technical video about the new GT3 car and how it differs to the old one. And I think we could bring that, because I know the management are listening into this bit, so if I say we get to 1,500 likes, we'll definitely make that video. I think that would be a great video to make. In fact, I'd quite like to make that.
Yep, just have the two cars side by side, showcase the difference, showcase the benefit, explain the reasoning why, explain the lessons learned. And if only there was somewhere in the UK, or even any of the places we go to, where you could find the two cars side by side. There we go. They're delighted, aren't they? Absolutely over the moon.
That would be a good pre-Spa video, actually. Or maybe we could make it in Spa.
Top quality drumming going on.
Yeah, they really are. They're quite noisy, these drummers. Oh, look. Commiserations for the very tearful, and quite rightly tearful actually, Sekiguchi, because he did drive brilliantly. Nearly won the race and then ran out of fuel. I mean, playing fuel roulette is something I hate doing. I can't handle it. If the fuel indicator on my car dips below 50 miles an hour, I have to go to the nearest petrol station. I can't have it. I can't do that.
You're not a fan of range anxiety?
No. Which you don't get actually anymore if you drive a Nissan Leaf.
There we go.
Because that has got massive range. And I forget what it is. It's something like 200 plus miles.
Easy really now.
Good.
Easy.
It's a really good range. I'd quite like one, except... And so it's to the point where I'm actually trying to get my local council to install a on-street charging.
There we go. Hopefully the range of the Nissan Leaf will be the first question Heikki Kovalainen gets asked.
Exactly. That's absolutely...
That'd surprise him.
No, what he should be asked is, when's the NISMO version coming? And also the microphone. Okay, here we go for the interviews. 284 kilometre range.
200 miles, that'll do for me.
Oh. Unfortunately, we're not being bought the sound of Heikki Kovalainen.
I was really hoping you were going to lip sync badly.
Well, unfortunately...
Car is very good.
Car is very good. I like to do this, and I can only do Kimi Räikkönen, so this is the only Finnish accent I have.
I can tell you're smiling. That's clearly not Kimi Räikkönen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's smiling. Heikki, that's the difference, always difference. Heikki smiles.
I got really happy.
Yeah, he's very happy. We're clearly only getting the circuit speaker sound. What we can take is from the expression on his face that Heikki Kovalainen is extremely happy. As you can see. He's ecstatic, in fact, about winning this race. Couldn't be happier. And he's handing over now to, here he is, Kamui Kobayashi, who'll explain that he wasn't allowed to start the race just in case he didn't remember where the pit entry is. Says thank you. He's asking now, he's a bit confused because with the background, he didn't know the Argentine team, while they're out of the World Cup, didn't know that they were going to be sending the fans here to drum at the side of the track in Thailand. It's very good to see that sort of a commitment. And he's happy that Japan is still in the World Cup and that he's won a race.
You sent a text to our boots on the ground in the pit lane regarding Jan Mardenbroek.
Yeah.
Heard anything about that?
No. I will do that again.
It'd be just interesting to see if there's any fallout between JP Oliveira and Mardenbroek coming together on the run down into turn one there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Obviously, we'll have a little race recap in a few moments after the podium ceremony. Unfortunately, we couldn't bring you the Heikki Kovalainen audio. Hopefully, well, the audio for the number 11 Gainer Tanix car will all be in Japanese, but they'll say how wonderful the Nissan GT-R GT3 is, and how the repositioned engine really lowers the centre of gravity, gives it a better balance, and much better for customer teams.
Easier for the gentleman driver to handle through medium and high-speed curves.
Get fantastic support, customer support. Very good parts availability. Really affordable, actually, compared to many other GT3 models.
which is a big thing for GT teams.
And it's the biggest thing, in fact. And not best of that, as the excitable girl's about to say, it's not just really affordable for GT3 customer teams, it's also very quick.
As proved today.
And she's just asking, how fast is it? Very. Very, very. That's how we won, says Hironaka. As our producer's just taking selfies of himself next to some old things called CDs, I believe they are. And so the Gainer Tanax GT-R is on Dunlop tyres here. And there's not many series that run on Dunlops for a GT3 car now, are there?
But they're a very, very good tyre, very consistent over a stint.
And that was what our producer was actually doing, was contacting our boots on the ground. So we still haven't had any word on, and I'm typing this as I say it, on JP and Jan. There you go. Cutting edge technology here in the NISMO bunker. It's a really good first win for this new spec GT-R in Super GT at least. It's certainly not going to be the last. Now I think that puts this Gainer team into quite a lot of contention for the title, particularly with a lot of the troubles before falling under any of the others. Let's have a look at the points, shall we?
Like the background to a provisional result, if ever I saw it.
It does, doesn't it? Oh, well, there you go. Toyota's 1, 2, 3, 4. No fuel in the fifth. First non-Toyota was the Mugen NSX GT. Muto was actually lucky to hold off Daiki Sasaki there when you look at the final time, just under a second in it, which we didn't quite see at the end. The Keihin NSX was 7th. Keeper Tom's LC 500 way down in 8th. Not great for them. The Epson Modulo number 64 car, 9th. I mean, we saw it once in the entire race, and there you Tom's LC 500 needed to go to the petrol station.
Hashtag where is Benson Jutton?
Very good point. Even the car that had no petrol finished ahead of Jenson Button in 11th, a lap down. The Motorlortec GT-R with its 64 kilos of ballast just behind him. That could be critical. In GT300, the Gainer Tanax GT-R, a convincing victory for the new Nissan ahead of the Toyota Prius. But will the Prius keep that result because of that contact with the number 55 BMW? Cintium LM Corsa Lexus in third, could inherit second because of that. The Leon AMG in fourth, the Legal Frontier Albi at Lamborghini GT3 in fifth, the Manipa in sixth, Good Smile Hatsune Miku in 7th, so she came in the end, but the real loser of that there, down in 11th on the ranking, but didn't, just lost out because of that cut tyre, was the 55 BMW. The Lotus with its long pit strategy still didn't manage to make it work in 12th. Let's have a look at some points, because what do points make?
Championships.
No, Barff, confused. Here you go. Heikki Kovalainen on his own leads the championship because they've had the team rate swapperoo. In second position in the championship, Yamamoto and Button. Third is Quintarelli, still separated by a point, but this race put Heikki Kovalainen right into title contention on his own. Now, the last solo champion of Super GT, also Oshima and Hirakawa moved up. In GT300, that's Nissan taking the championship lead, Hironaka and Yasuda in at first position ahead of the, well, that was a crucial result for the Prius actually, because that's Kokisaga and Keihi Hirate in the Prius, and they take the points away so very quickly because they found the podium, I wonder.
So the Leon Mercedes, which was third in
this podium's rubbish.
in GT300 in the points championship, he finished fourth overall, went down to 10th and bounced back up to fourth. So yeah, there's our solo championship leader. Didn't see that one coming before today.
So is that the podium prize, a sort of plastic chair from a cheap cafe in East London?
No, it's not from East London because it's got a GT500 sticker on it. If it was from East London, it would have old chewing gum. Oh, they're discussing flag strategy.
Oh, yes, they are. Oh, now this is a bit of an insight. And it's going to be... Oh, there's Autosport Japan doing an interview with the Wacos car. She's a very good journalist, actually. She's got the Super GT shirt on, so I'm not quite sure if she works for Autosport Japan at the races or for Super GT's file, but it doesn't really matter. Autosport Japan have the Very good coverage if you speak Japanese, which many people watching this broadcast probably don't.
Which is why they're listening to us.
Yes.
Again, for the second time today, filling.
Well, what we're doing at the moment is waiting for the podium to be A, found or B, constructed. And the podium ceremony here at Chang is a little bit of an unknown to us. I believe it's one where they have to build the podium.
I can hear scaffolding poles being rattled in the background, so yeah, there's certainly some sort of construction going on.
There it is. They built it, they finished it. There you go. They're now working out how to use it. They've got the instruction manual. The two ladies on the left are reading how to do a podium ceremony and not seem weird. They've got the Allen key out again. The Allen key is back out again. No, they've worked it out. They've gone to the right side of the podium, which is the left, and they found the trophies. But are we going to see an appearance from his orangeness?
I don't think we are. I think Mr. Delicious Multi Beverage has replaced for like #1 event only.
Wow, this would be a big turn up for the books. Maybe so sad about the form of his two orange cars that...
Wow. Very disappointing for Sean Walkinshaw for sure. And
well, you've got to remember the GT500 Arthur Autobacks car was out as well. We are, of course, talking about the series sponsor, Mr. Arthur Autobacks, also known as the one in the orange jacket. And they're really quite loud, drummy people, these, aren't they? That could be the new thing. I mean, some circuits have John the Shouty Man, and
others have
drums.
Dave and his band of drummers.
So you know Jan Mardenborough gave John the Shouty Man a lift back to the train station after the last race?
I didn't.
He did. Yeah, Jan gave Shouty Man John a lift back to the train station.
Brilliant.
Oh, well, there you go. Boxing gloves.
Oh, this is so curious.
Why does a Toyota Prius driver need boxing gloves that have been scribbled on? I just literally have no idea what that's about. But obviously now is Jan going to give a lift back to the entire drumming contingent of Buriram?
He's a nice lad. He might do.
I don't know. You should fit them all in the car. He only drives a Micra. I mean, well, they're very roomy and spacious, and especially the new one. It's a lovely car to drive, but I don't think you can fit. Actually, no, he didn't get a Micra. He got a... What was it?
Was it a NISMO Note?
Yes, it was.
Boom.
It's got a NISMO Note. It was the Note, not the Micra.
I think we're almost there.
Yeah, don't forget to follow all of this on social media as well, at NISMO. Thai boxing is a massive sport. Yes, we know, but it's the national sport in Thailand. Nonetheless, there is actually a video on NISMO TV about this, because we took the NISMO drivers and did some Muay Thai. And you can watch that video elsewhere on NISMO TV, and Roman Sarazan tries to punch me.
So what would be good if SuperGT came to England, did a race at Silverstone or Brands Hatch, where our most popular sport is fishing, we could take them like carp fishing.
No, you'd have to give them a cricket bat. Fish and chips on the podium. That'd be awesome. You could bucket of fish. Yeah, you get a bucket of whole fish. Bit of cod and chips. So while we're filling this and looking at random pictures of cars and girls and men in helmets, we are waiting for the podium ceremony. This is how long it takes in Super GT. I think we should have I wonder if I reckon, like compared to Motegi, I reckon the podium ceremony takes longer than the race.
We need a little interlude. You remember the old interludes when you went to the cinema?
Yeah.
Just a little bit of piano music in the background. And a holding screen.
Yeah.
Right back, folks.
A girl and a clown.
Yeah, here's an interlude.
Yeah, they're still doing the one finger. Yeah, there you go. He looks really tired, doesn't he?
Shattered.
Hironaka is absolutely destroyed by that. I mean, it's
humidity's taking it out of him today.
How's he going to lift up the podium trophies and drink the water, drink the sake or whatever it is we have in Thailand, sparkling Chang perhaps, which is sparkling, with boxing gloves on?
With enormous difficulty, Samuel.
I mean, have you ever tried to drink a pint with wearing boxing gloves? It's a disaster. So we're all still waiting for the podium. The track's being swept up. Maybe they think they have to have a clean track before the podium ceremony. Who knows? We are staying with this. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe and follow at NISMO on all the various social media challenges. Challenges? There you go. There's a challenge for you. How many likes did we get in the end?
AIDS pulling his not enough face.
Not enough. Not enough likes to get Barffy on social media.
Good.
Well, we'll have to go to the next Super GT round. 1087. That's a engine capacity for very small cars.
Or a medium-sized motorcycle.
That's true. Well, just over a month till we're doing this all again. And that'll be a 500-mile race at Fuji Speedway. And that's going to be quite an exciting one. High speed. Lots of question marks over how long some of the cars... There's the drummers, look. How long the cars can last on that long straight. We're expecting unreliability from some of the front runners.
And we have seen a little more contact today. The boxing gloves will certainly be off at Fuji for the next round, and 500 miles, they've got to stay out of the pit lane. Any form of endurance race, as you know, Sam, is won and lost on pit stop time, and they have to stay out of the pit garage.
I don't know any other championship that takes so long to do a podium ceremony. Oh, look, they've started talking finally. The sponsored by Bridgestone drummers have shut up as well. So it must be important. No, they got bored of that announcement and carried on. They've been going all race like that. I mean, it's 87% humidity. Here we go, it's the podium, and there he is, the man in the orange jacket. The winning car is the Gainer Tanax GT-R. This is the GT300 category. And here come the winning drivers of that winning Nissan GT-R GT3. And of course, the car is the star. If they can find the drivers.
There they
are. Double flagging as well. Gainer flags and NISMO flags. We seem to have lost our NISMO flag.
Didn't we give it away?
Did we give it away? No, we need some more NISMO flags. We need to get some Gainer flags as well. And the boxing gloves are coming up onto the Pona. It's Kokisaga and Kohei Hirate. They're having a good time. Will they keep that position though? Very controversial, because the gloves did come out and took a bite out of the 55.
Maybe that's why he's got his boxing gloves on for his visit to race control in 10 minutes.
Do we get 4th and 5th position on the podium as well? Because there's little steps for them as well. That's a sort of everybody gets a prize sort of situation, isn't it?
Oh yeah, I hadn't noticed that.
Yeah, I just spotted that as well. I don't think so. I think Mr. Orange Jacket qualifies as 5th position. Looking pretty chilled out there. And then here's the bit in Thai. My Thai is about as good as my Swedish. And so we are waiting for the first trophy, or the first prize, whatever it is. What is it? Is that an ECU with it? No, it's just a... Oh, it's just a 1 with a circuit map on it. Yeah, see, that's not great, is it? That's like a bookend. That's exactly what it is. They've got bookends to store their collections of Super GT magazines, or indeed Nissan books. There's a very good book about the history of the Nissan GT-R. Came out last year. That's probably what they're going to put up on that. And yeah, there you go. So it's just a bookend with where you finished on it. I guess it's a useful trophy. A lot of trophies aren't useful.
Yeah, I'm looking for sportswear though, or something more surreal.
Yeah, they might have got the podium in the wrong order there, but it doesn't matter. Here comes the... You see, this is what I'm talking about, like useful trophy. The Autobax trophy. I'm sure it's very nice to win one. But what are you going to do with that?
Paperweight, Sam.
You know, it's quite weighty. I mean,
an enormous paperweight.
I think I'd rather have bookends. We've got quite a lot of books, you see. Now we have an update. Dakota says between the battling Nismos, all was okay. But she says it's very loud.
Such a girl. Great. Oh, hello. What? Oh, no,
it's double bottles. Double bottles. Oh, one each, of course.
Massive bottles of beer. Awesome.
Is it beer? It is, isn't it?
You'd hope so.
That's really going to smell on the flight back too. Oh no, he said champagne, but I think it's beer. No, it looks like champagne, doesn't it? That's really going to smell on the flight back to Tokyo and the train and the drive, 8-hour drive down. Obviously, they don't get changed after the race here. So you'd never sit next to a Super GT driver after a race. They're really smelly.
No, that has to be something other than beer. Beer wouldn't have...
It says Chang on it. I think it's beer. I think that was the reaction. They went, oh, it's beer. Yeah, that's beer. Look at the head on it. That's definitely beer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. No dinosaurs, no sportswear, no scratch card, no packets of crisps.
Nothing. Just some bookends. Well, Chang's not scoring highly on the random podium ceremony, but only 2 trophies.
It's quite... I would even go as far as saying that was relatively conventional, if a little delayed.
Yeah.
You know, I kind of tolerate the 30-minute podium build-up in anticipation of something quite surreal and sometimes harrowing and surprising, whereas that was relatively straightforward.
He took the boxing gloves off.
Maybe he realised it wasn't the time or the place for anything too silly.
I think that's definitely beer. Yeah, it's posh beer, isn't it?
Yeah, if it was warm champagne, they would have definitely left it up there.
See, I'd quite enjoy that. Like, you know, 87% humidity. It's really hot, so a cold beer and some bookends. That'd be a really nice thing to finish the race for, actually. You know, I'd have those and pride of place in my little study.
Yeah, do you have a nice day at work, dear? I did. It was a hard day, but I got a pair of bookends and a really nice bottle of beer. Ooh,
Yeah,
nice Sunday out.
Yeah, exactly.
Can sort of see the little WhatsApp conversation. Okay, safe journey home. Look forward to seeing you bookends later.
They are nice bookends. I think actually from a sort of structural point of view, finishing third would be best in terms of the bookends because you've got a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, very unusual podium, bringing the winners out first.
Yeah. Did Mr. Orange Jacket actually present the trophy, or is he just standing there?
No, he did.
He did, okay.
Yeah.
They really are banging those drums.
No golf clubs. No baskets of rice.
There you go.
And it's a Lexus 123, everybody.
Yeah. I can't remember the last time that happened. I'm sure RJ O'Connell can. Super GT World, a fine website, which is a world of Super GT. And are they missing? No, they've all got flags. So the flag strategy was pre-agreed. Here come the bookends. See, the number 1, I reckon if I had that as a bookend, I'd just catch my finger on it every time I was reaching in to get a...
Whereas the 3 is more of a curly shape. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you.
You cut yourself on that. See, the thing is, though, because each driver only gets half a bookend, they have to go and win it again next year to get the other half. Or they have to share their bookends.
You're right, third place is small and usable, isn't it?
Yeah, so finishing third at Chang International Circuit is probably the ideal.
Autobacks.
That's it, yep, that's what it says. Just checking. Oh, I think it's the team director of the Arthur Autobacks team, rather than normal Mr. Orange Jacket. Or maybe he's been promoted to the team director.
There's a scratch card in the wings there as well.
There is. And how much is it going to be? So what's it going to be? Is it going to be in baht? No, it's in yen.
500,000 yen.
So I am just going to do the quick conversion because...
To our race leaders goes 500,000 yen.
Which is some money. Photo session. There you go. That's in English, of course. Which is the equivalent of 150,000 Thai baht. Which, of course, you can all relate to how much money that is. Sounds like the England fans have turned up now. So they're all having their photos taken here at Chang International Circuit for a very sedate podium ceremony. And, well, I think Chang needs to raise its game on the old podium front.
I would have liked to have seen a canoe. Or any form of water-based sports equipment. We've had golf clubs. We've had
snorkels,
wood. We've had baskets of rice, buckets of fish.
Fish heads, I think. It was just fish heads. The world's biggest trophy.
Yeah, maybe they went.
Maybe
they went over the top when they gave away the young of that small dinosaur-y thing a few races ago.
Yeah,
it took me weeks of counselling to get over that.
They've just abandoned the drivers on the podium.
Oh no, this is terrible. Yeah, I know. Look at him.
What are we doing?
So yes, spray the champagne that we haven't given you, boys. Brilliant.
Do we want a beer? All right, I'm off.
Oh no, they've given the GT3.
They didn't get it. They didn't get it.
They gave the GT300 lads their beer.
Yeah.
Oops.
Oh, that's a massive podium fail, ladies and gentlemen.
Had all the beers? The GT300 podium.
The GT300 guys have stolen the GT500 beer. Oh, they're not sure what to do. Oh, they're leaving. Yeah, they're leaving. Oh, well,
that is exit stage left at its finest. They're so disappointed.
There's crisis here.
There's hilarity after all. I was worried it was going to be rubbish, but there's every cloud has a silver lining.
The drivers have gone on strike. They're refusing to leave the podium now. They're refusing to leave the podium until they get given beer. Kamui is saying, I want beer.
Kamui was going to do a shoey. He had it all lined up.
Yeah. And Heikki's he's looking unhappy for a Finn.
He looks like a thirsty Finn if ever I saw one. There's nothing worse than a thirsty Finn.
2 beers now he's owed. Well, look at this. Well, Sonia there from GTA just sort of saying to Heikki, look, we're really sorry, but there's no beer left. It's not like they brew it here at Buriram. So, Chang International Circuit, a circuit named for a beer company, ran out of beer.
Brilliant, brilliant. You couldn't write this, could you? I love it.
No, it was in your script here, look.
What, just under podium fail?
Yeah. Oh, I didn't know the track had a drag strip. Anyway, that was Super GT Round 4 from Thailand here on NISMO TV. We should be telling you about what time the next race is. There it is, Fuji Speedway. It's a 500-mile race on the 5th of August. We will be here, bring it to you full, live and uninterrupted on NISMO TV. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I think now we need to have a recap of the race we just watched.
Don't want to see a recap of the podium.
No.
It's bobbins.
Yeah. A beer-free podium.
One thing that Fuji will guarantee us, though, the endurance race in Japan always guarantees us a great podium.
Yeah, it does. It does. And that I think they will get wood, or might they get something special? Might get special wood.
First time 500-mile Fuji semi-endurance wood.
Well, there you go.
Wait and see, folks. Wait and see.
Grandmaster Yoda made a very good point. They gave them the 500 yen, but no drinks. So they had to buy their own.
They gave them beer money.
Yeah, but it's in the wrong currency, so they can't spend it until they get back to Tokyo. They'd be really thirsty. It takes days to get back there. So here is the race recap, apparently. Though we've got the hero music, but no recap. So here's an aerial photo of a track we've seen a race on. And there it is. There's the Thai flag. Blue skies. Buses. Boxers. Well, they said that was a racing driver dressed as a boxer. Girls with flags. A Mercedes. An Audi. Moody lights. A girl blew a kiss. Very lovely. Some others just pointed. A starting grid. Dakota. And Honda. The drivers got ready for a real race. Some people waved some sticks. Some drivers warmed some tyres. Some others just looked at the timing screen. Some people checked tyre pressures and the racing action began. Sunglasses, happiness, unpredictability, because things were going to get heated. The Forum Engineering car hit the Honda and then hit itself into the wall. The Garba Gainer Tanax car had a problem. We don't know what that was. It's unusual. The AU Tom's car was one of the Lexuses that didn't get munched. The Wedsport. Jensen Button was sad. The Cintium Lexus drove off the track. A tyre didn't go on. A Rosenquisted. A great battle between the white car and the blue car, while the red car struggled with 64 kilos of ballast. And some overtaking happened. Nakajima found some finger guns. Lexus won, but the big news was the Nissan winning GT300. They were happy about that. And some other cars finished too. Heikki Kovalainen didn't get any beer, and some thumbs were raised. I've been Sam Collins, and this has been Super GT on NISMO TV.
I've been Rob Barff. We'll catch you at Fuji, folks. Thanks for watching.